To deal with my family pressuring me to marry, I spent just 9.9 Yuan online to find a girl intending to just have a fake wedding. Who knew that when we went to the Civil Affairs Bureau to register, the staff would look at me with utter contempt? You're already married, so what are you doing here registering? Don't you know what bigamy is? Stepping out of the Civil Affairs Bureau, I stared blankly at the marriage certificate that had just been printed out. The girl next to you also said regretfully, Mr. Lin, you're already married. Why did you even waste money to hire me? After saying that, she threw out a line, no need to refund the deposit, and completely vanished. I stood there frozen on the spot, still unable to process it. For a guy like me who hasn't even held a girl's hand, how could I already be married? I looked at the printed paper in my hand again. The man in the photo was definitely me, and there was a woman named Shen Yuchu. She looked incredibly beautiful, but I completely didn't know her. Immediately, I took out my phone to snap a photo of it. Sending it to an account with a black profile picture helped me check who she is. The other party replied instantly, understood boss. I suppressed the confusion in my heart, riding my battered electric scooter into the luxury villa district. Right after I parked the scooter, the chatter of the maids echoed from behind. Who is he? How is he so handsome? Shh, don't say that. He's the illegitimate son that the Lin family refuses to acknowledge. Back then, his mother came to the door with a pregnant belly demanding status. That woman was truly unbelievable, always finding every possible reason to cling to the Lin family and refuse to leave. He at least has a bit of sense. I heard he moved out to live on his own since middle school. Don't know what he's doing crawling back here today. I frowned, pretending not to hear, and walked straight into the living room. My foster mother, Liu Li, who was watching the door, saw me and immediately dragged me upstairs anxiously. Come with me to find your older brother. Oh, right. Did you get the marriage certificate? I replied nonchalantly. Got it. Then that's good. You must remember your place. Shen Xin is your older brother's fiancée. That kind of top-tier wealthy family isn't something an illegitimate child like you can daydream about. Only your older brother is worthy of her. A flash of irony crossed in my eyes. Shen Xin had pursued me throughout all 4 years of college, but on graduation day, she ended up with my older brother Lin Fan. Liu Li demanded that I get married immediately to completely cut off any possibility with Shen Xin. From childhood to adulthood, whenever Lin Fan and I had a conflict of interest, she would always force me to give in unconditionally. I looked at her coldly. I've already said this is the last time. This time is considered paying off the rest of your debt of giving birth to me. Liu Li, with a face full of impatience, said, I know. Arriving at Lin Fan's room, he smiled and greeted Lin Wu, why are you here? Before I could open my mouth, Liu Li cut in. Xiaofan Ling Wu got married today. Lin Fan showed a look of surprise. Oh, what kind of person is the other party? Are they better than Sister Shen Xin? Oh, Shen. Liu Li sneered. How could that be? In this entire Hai Chang, you won't find anyone with a status nobler than Miss Shen. What kind of good match could he find? Probably some street trash, which is why he didn't even dare to bring her back. Afraid that poor look would hurt your eyes. Lin Fan's voice carried a hint of jealousy, but Lin Wu is so handsome. Otherwise, Sister Shen Xin wouldn't have pursued him for 4 years. What's the use of being handsome? For a status like his, only some fake goods met in some dark corner would agree to marry him. Miss Shen merely treated him like a toy, to play around with a bit. Only your status is worthy of Miss Shen. The appearance and aura of the woman in that photo could never be that of street trash, but I didn't bother to argue. At this time, Lin Fan had finished putting on his watch and was about to put on his shoes to head out, but felt his shirt was too tight and not convenient for saving someone. He smiled faintly and looked at me. Liu Li immediately pushed me. You useless trash, always so lacking in tact, huh? Your older brother is inconvenience. Why aren't you quickly helping him put on his shoes? My gaze went cold. You can just help him yourself. Lin Wu, what kind of attitude is that, huh? You think just because you got a wife, your wings are fully grown in the end, won't you still have to rely on the Lin family? Liu Li raised her voice. If you don't care about pleasing your older brother, now there will come a day when you and your wife will have to kneel down and beg him. Besides, the Lin family raised you to adulthood. You should be working like a horse for the Lin family to properly repay that. Before I even had a chance to retort, my father Lin Zhenan suddenly appeared at the door. An important guest is about to visit. What are you guys making such a racket over here for? Liu Li immediately began to wail and complain. Isn't it because of this rebel today? Right after getting his marriage certificate, he completely stopped respecting me as his mother. Lin Zhenan looked at me. You got married. Why didn't you ask the family to introduce someone to you? Do you have the marriage certificate? Let me take a look. Facing the concern of this estranged father, I paused for a moment, taking out that printed paper from my pocket. The next second, it was snatched away by Liu Li. Let me see what kind of street trash wife you got. On the other side, Lin Fan asked curiously, Father, who is it? that's making you so nervous? Lin Jianan thought of that person and instantly felt incredibly proud, then excitedly blurted out the name Shen Yuchu. Hearing this name, I was instantly stunned. Lin Jianan, seeing our dazed expressions, proudly explained, "It's normal that you guys don't know her. This person is very mysterious, even I have never met her. She is Shen Xin's aunt, only 28 years old, but she has already become the person with real power in the Shen family today." Liu Li blurted out instinctively, "Then isn't she even more powerful than Shen Xin, far exceeding the title of the eldest miss of the main branch?" Lin Jianan snapped, saying, "What? Miss Shen is already married." I narrowed my eyes. Already married. If the person on the marriage certificate is really her, then it seems Shen Yuchu must know exactly what is going on here. Liu Li showed a hint of disappointment. Who is her husband then, to actually have a better fortune than our own Xiaofan like that? Lin Jianan furrowed his brows in thought. I don't know either. I heard she and her husband both dislike parties and socializing. It's just that for some reason she is personally visiting today. Liu Li asserted firmly, "It must be because Xiaofan is too outstanding, which is why it caught the attention of the Shen family." After saying that, she stuffed the paper she hadn't had time to look at back into my hand, grabbing Lin Fan's hand both excitedly and mockingly. This appearance was even more anxious than that of my biological mother, Madame Lin. At this moment, the butler came upstairs to remind them that the Shen family people were about to arrive. Hearing this, Lin Jianan hurriedly went downstairs, and as he passed by me, he said casually, "You haven't been home in a long time. Have a glass of wedding wine before you leave." Nodded in agreement. I wanted to stay and see who exactly Shen Yuchu was. Inside the room, Liu Li looked at Lin Fan, who was preparing to marry the wealthy heiress, the joy in her eyes impossible to hide. More than 20 years ago, if it weren't for the appearance of Madame Lin Li Xia, the one marrying Lin Jianan should have been Liu Li. She hated Li Xia, so to take revenge, she chose to give birth on the exact same day as Li Xia, and during that time, swapped the two babies at the hospital. Now her biological son Lin Fan has become the young master of the Lin family, while my son, the real young master, has become the neglected illegitimate child. After going downstairs, I stood leaning into a dark corner next to the stairs, staring intently toward the door, waiting for the Shen family to arrive. Not knowing how much time had passed, Madame Lin Li Xia was helped downstairs by a servant. She wore a purple cheongsam, her figure slender, her entire being exuding an intellectual aura. The servant lowered their voice, saying, "Madam, your health isn't good. Maybe you shouldn't go down." Madame Lin coughed while shaking her head. "No, today is so important for Xiaofan, I cannot be absent." I looked at her back, my eyes filled with respect and affection. Speaking of which, it's quite ridiculous, in the Lin family, she was my only source of warmth. When I was young, Liu Li often starved me, and once Madame Lin caught wind of it, from then on, she would go to the garden every day at a set time to leave some food for me. This matter had lasted for a whole 12 years. If not for Madame Lin's kindness, perhaps I would have given up on myself long ago. Watching Madame Lin gradually walk away, hearing her occasional coughs echoing back, I frowned with worry. At this moment, there was a sound near the door. The Shen family people had arrived. Lin Jianan and Madame Lin went to the door to greet them, and after a few words of greeting, they made way. A large group of people grandly entered the house. I recognized Shen Yuchu immediately. That face was much more beautiful than in the photo, her aura cold and sharp. Sensing my gaze, she suddenly looked over. That sharp, cold gaze made my heart skip a beat. I wanted to further probe the emotions in her eyes, but Shen Yuchu had already withdrawn her gaze and looked away. This left me a bit baffled. With this manner of hers, does she actually know me or not? Lin Jianan smiled flatteringly. "Miss Shen, where is your husband? Did he not come along with you?" The moment these words were spoken, I felt Shen Yuchu seemingly glanced sideways at me again. "He's inconvenienced." After saying that, everyone surrounded her and walked toward the living room, while Shen Xin, the one who had pursued me for 4 years, also followed behind. Dressed in a festive dress, she looked much more mature and composed than back in college. She didn't notice me, only absent-mindedly chatting with Lin Fan. As I was standing still there, my arm was violently yanked by Liu Li. She lowered her voice, scolding, "Lin Wu, what are you still standing here for? Don't tell me you're still daydreaming about Shen Xin. Keep in mind that she is your sister-in-law now." I brushed her hand off, giving a mocking laugh. "Rest assured, I have no interest in being a third wheel. It was Mr. Lin who told me to stay for a glass of wedding wine." Ever since I found out the truth, I always called Lin Jianan Mr. Lin. Liu Li gnashed her teeth in anger. "That was just him being polite, and you actually took it seriously? I think you really don't know your place. On an occasion like this, even I am not allowed to embarrass the Lin family. Does an illegitimate child think he deserves a seat at the main table? Get lost right now." I frowned in annoyance. Just as I was about to say something, I saw Shen Yuchu walking out to the balcony to answer a phone call, so I gave a quick reply to Liu Li and turned to follow her. Just as I approached, Shen Yuchu, who was on the phone, hung up immediately. Then she looked at me with a cold gaze. My footsteps halted facing her dangerous gaze. The corner of my lips curled up slightly as I tentatively called out, "Wife." Shen Yuchu's gaze was bone-chilling. I stared intently at Shen Yuchu to observe her reaction. But I saw that after she heard that form of address, she looked at me even more coldly and distantly, without the slightest flicker of emotion. Then she turned around, intending to leave. I quickly stepped forward to block her path. "Do you not know me?" Shen Yuchu looked down at me from above. "Move aside. Do I know you, this gentleman? I am already married. Please show some self-respect." I was a bit stunned. This person clearly didn't know me yet. She said she was already married. Could it be that the Civil Affairs Bureau messed up the information? "May I ask who your husband is?" "None of your business." Again, 4 words as cold as ice. I took out that copy of the marriage certificate and held it up in front of her. "Miss Shen, the female on this should be you, right?" Shen Yochu's gaze stopped at the male's name and mockingly said, "Mr. Lin. An original copy isn't that expensive. If you're going to fake it, you should at least be a bit more professional." After saying that, she didn't turn back to the living room, but strode from the small garden toward the parking lot. I chased after her, wanting to clear things up, but was blocked by 2 bodyguards. I shouted toward her back, "Miss Shen, this paper is real. It's real. If you don't believe it, you can go to the Civil Affairs Bureau to check." Shen Yochu got into the car and drove straight off while her personal assistant stayed behind. When I returned to the living room, I ran into Lin Fan. He happened to see the scene of me pestering Shen Yuchu, and his eyes flickered slightly. Lin Chenan had a look full of anxiety. "Why did Miss Shen leave? Was there some oversight in our hospitality?" Lin Fan clenched his fists, his tone full of hesitation. I saw Lin Wu constantly harassing Miss Shen, which is why Miss Shen left in anger. She even left a message telling father to discipline the family members strictly. With father doing this, will the Shen family think that our family lacks proper upbringing? Lin Jianen's face instantly turned pale. On the other side, I rode my electric scooter to chase after Shen Yuchu but lost her track. While feeling annoyed, my phone suddenly rang. As soon as I picked up, a female voice came from the other end. "Boss, here is the information on Shen Yuchu. We found out that Shen Yuchu is the second daughter of Old Master Shen. Rumor has it she is cold-blooded and ruthless, which is why she was sent abroad since childhood. Everyone thought the Shen family would be handed over to the eldest son, who is also Shen Xin's father. Who would have thought Shen Yuchu suddenly returned to the country last week? Don't know what kind of ruthless methods she used, but she forced the old master to abdicate and directly took control of the Shen group." I frowned and said, "Find her contact info and schedule for me. After that, I will go find her." After hanging up the phone, I rubbed my temples. This matter is a bit troublesome. With a status like Shen Yuchu's, wanting to meet her is truly not easy. Today, I shouldn't have let my mouth slip and called her wife, making her leave in anger. I let out a sigh, started the battered scooter, and leisurely headed home. Leaving the bustling city center, I arrived at a rundown neighborhood in the suburbs. Back in middle school, when I moved out of the Lin family home, I didn't have much money on me, and could only rent an old house here. Later on, I got used to it, so I didn't want to move away anymore. Just as I turned the corner near my house from the side of the road, an old lady about 80 years old suddenly rushed out. I hurriedly slammed on the brakes, almost hitting her. I thought I had run into a scammer trying to extort me, but I quickly noticed the old lady was dressed very neatly. Around her neck hung a card with a contact phone number written on it. The last line read, "If the old lady gets lost, please call this phone number. There will be a proper reward." Clearly, the old lady had Alzheimer's. I immediately took out my phone to enter the series of numbers on the card. However, the old lady, who was looking dazed just now, suddenly grabbed my wrist tightly, her eyes suddenly becoming sharp. "Grandson-in-law, you are indeed my grandson-in-law." The corner of my mouth twitched slightly. Single for 22 years, how did a wife suddenly pop out of nowhere today? Finding it amusing, I casually asked, "Grandma, who is your granddaughter?" "What's her name?" "Oh, right. The girl's name is Shen." "Shen what? What kind of Shen was it again?" The name she had just remembered, just as she was about to say it, flew right out of her mind. The old lady began to panic, her mouth stuttering. But she just couldn't utter that name. "Grandma, don't rush. If you can't remember, it's fine," I reassured her and then dialed the phone. At this moment, on a street not far away, Shen Yuchu was sitting inside a Bentley, her expression extremely dark. The assistant, Liu Kuang, sitting next to her, didn't even dare to breathe heavily. It's because I didn't watch over her carefully, for letting the old lady wander off and get lost. She didn't say anything, but her entire body exuded a cold aura. The old lady most of the time was in a dazed and confused state. Who could have thought that today her condition would suddenly improve, and after dismissing everyone, she sneaked out the door. Checking the surveillance cameras, they only just discovered that the old lady actually took a bus all the way to the suburbs. This area was quite run down, with many streets not yet equipped with surveillance cameras. They could only use the method of searching manually corner by corner. Right at this moment, her phone suddenly rang. I am Shen Youchu. She immediately answered, and from the other end of the line came my nonchalant voice. Hello, your old lady is currently in my hands. Hearing this, the atmosphere in the car instantly froze over. Everyone had an immediate reaction. Someone prepared to call the police while Liu Kuang was also tracking the source of the call signal. Shen Youchu's gaze was razor sharp, her voice cold to the bone. How much money do you want? Just kidding. I just wanted to remind you to take better care of the elderly in the future. Saying that, I read out the address and hung up immediately. 5 minutes later, they arrived at the place where the old lady was standing. While I had already left long ago, only a police officer was guiding the old lady standing there waiting. Shen Youchu asked, Grandma, why did you come all the way out here? The old lady said with a mysterious face, I went to find my grandson-in-law. He lives right near here. Shen Youchu paused. Grandma, there is no grandson-in-law. No way, I just met him. That heartless kid, right after handing me over to the police, he completely vanished. Oh, right. Give me your phone for a moment. Shen Youchu handed her the phone. The old lady then searched the call history for the phone number that had just called earlier, then wrote it down in her little notebook. She was overjoyed. Finally got the grandson-in-law's number. Early the next morning, I received a phone call from Professor Wen, my university lecturer. Just as I stepped into the office, I saw Lin Fan and his mother were also there. Lin Fan and I both studied at Haicheng University. He always claimed to be an elite student, while I, in order not to overshadow his aura, had deliberately chosen the most obscure major new energy. Who would have thought that 2 years ago, the new energy sector suddenly exploded, Lin Fan immediately switched departments and became my classmate again. Lin Fan being here could still be considered normal. But why was Liu Li also present here? Just as I thought of that, I saw Professor Wen with a stern face. Lin Wu, your direct admission to the master's program has been cancelled. Your mother said your character and background have issues making you unfit for the direct admission standards. Is there some misunderstanding between you and your mother? Hurry up and apologize to your mother. Your future is very bright. Don't let a moment of hot-headedness ruin your prospects. Lin Fan let out a sigh. Professor Wen Lin Wu's mother also just wants what's best for him. He turned to look at me. You've offended Miss Shen. She has sent out word that she will leave you with no place to stand in this Haicheng. I was stunned for a moment before figuring it out. The Miss Shen he spoke of was exactly Shen Youchu, but I had only spoken a few words to her. Moreover, when she left yesterday, she didn't seem to look angry at all. On the contrary, Lin Fan was originally someone extremely good at making things up. While I was thinking, Lin Fan stepped up in front of me. Lin Wu, this is the plane ticket Dad bought for you. He told you to go abroad to seek refuge, otherwise even the Lin family won't be able to protect you. A flicker of mockery flashed in my eyes. Isn't it just being afraid that I would tarnish the Lin family's reputation? Seeing that I didn't accept it, Lin Fan pulled out a bank card again. Are you worried about not having money to live on abroad? There is 50,000 yuan in here. This is my personal living allowance given to you. Just take it and use it for now. If it's not enough, I'll take from my allowance later and give you more. The young master of the Grand Lin family can only give a mere 50,000 yuan. I found it truly laughable, but Liu Li at this moment suddenly snatched the bank card away. Lin Fan, what are you doing? The Lin family being willing to buy a plane ticket for him is already doing more than enough for you. She glared at me, issuing an order, you pack your things and go abroad for me right now. I've already finished the dropout procedures for you. I looked at her coldly. Based on what do you get to decide for me? Based on the fact that I am your mother. Moreover, with this academic performance of yours, even graduating is going to be hard. You might as well go out and work to make money early. Professor Wen couldn't help but speak up. Lin Wu's mother, you've misunderstood. Lin Wu at school. Before he could finish his sentence, he was directly interrupted by Liu Li. Professor Wen, you don't need to speak up for him. As if I don't know what kind of person he is. He wants to pursue a master's degree simply because Lin Fan is doing a master's too. He doesn't even know to look in the mirror to see what kind of thing he is. What right does he have to compare himself to my Lin Fan's? Professor Wen was choked up, looking at Lin Fan in surprise. I recall that you didn't get a direct admission spot, nor did you take the graduate school entrance exam. Lin Fan smiled modestly. I'm entering through a special recruitment program, professor. Seeing the professor's confusion, he pretended to be humble. I wonder if it's because my project Dr. Wu has been successfully researched, it has been registered for a patent, and I was awarded the title of Dr. Wu. In my heart, I was incredibly shocked. Dr. Wu? How come I myself didn't know I was recruited specially? To repay Madam Lin's kindness over the past years, I have always used the alias Dr. Wu to provide technical support for the Lin family's company, even fabricating a sponsored background. Lin Fan continued to make things up. Back then, my mother sponsored Dr. Wu's studies, so after becoming famous, Dr. Wu came to our house and said my mother is his life-saving benefactor. Over the past years, he has always provided technical support for our family's company. He will definitely not refuse any request of mine. Professor Wen believed it to be true and asked, where is Dr. Wu currently working? He replied, "The dean will invite Dr. Wu to come teach at our school." Professor Wen was visibly overjoyed, saying to me, "Lin Wu, your research direction and Dr. Wu's are very similar. When the time comes, I will recommend you to him. If Dr. Wu is willing to say a word to help, perhaps there is still hope for your master's studies." Lin Fan feigned worry. Professor Wen, "Is that going to be okay? The Shen family is the richest in Haicheng every year. They pour a lot of research funding into our school. Dr. Wu is now an extremely influential figure. If Dr. Wu is willing to step forward, the school will definitely side with Dr. Wu." Lin Fan sighed and said, "But Dr. Wu is doing it for my mother's sake. If it's my matter, he will definitely go all out to help. But Lin Wu is my dad's illegitimate son and stands on the opposite side of my mother." Lin Wu, "How about I ask Dr. Wu for you to see what he thinks?" I laughed coldly and refused. Lin Fan at this moment looked no different from a dancing clown. I said to Professor Wen, "Professor Wen, you know that from the very beginning I didn't want to pursue a master's degree anyway." Liu Li pouted, "Don't waste your energy. You've offended Miss Shen and you still want to find a job in Haicheng Dream on. I don't believe there's someone who can cover the sky with one hand in this Haicheng. If you really can't find a job, then come be a teaching assistant for me." Professor Wen got angry, turning around to speak to me in a gentle voice. In my heart, I felt warm. "Professor, between me and Miss Shen, it's just a little misunderstanding. Explaining it clearly will be enough, you don't need to worry." Seeing this, Lin Fan clenched his fist, his tone full of sarcasm. "Lin Wu, are you planning to go pester Miss Shen again? She's married, doing that is really..." Hearing that, Liu Li naturally flew into a rage. She swung her hand and slapped me right across the face. I looked at Liu Li with disbelief, not expecting her to dare to strike right in front of Professor Wen so suddenly. Liu Li didn't feel sorry in the slightest. With her breaking out like that, Liu Li wasn't apologetic in the slightest. Pointing her finger at my face and scolding, "After a few years of not seeing you, I see you've forgotten the family rules. Apologize to your older brother right now, and promise from now on you will never hang around the Shen family's place again." The warmth in my eyes gradually faded away, leaving only coldness. It seemed the words I said for the last time that day, she completely ignored, still considering me that low-status kid who always had to bow down before Lin Fan, huh? Since reasoning doesn't work, then don't blame me for showing no mercy. Lin Fan stood nearby, watching a surge of smugness rising in his heart. "Since childhood, you've had to kneel at my feet, scolded, and not daring to argue back, beaten, and not daring to retaliate. Later, when you moved away and we met again in college, you clearly still had that poor, lowly look, yet you dared to stand up straight in front of me. Probably haven't been beaten for a few years, so you forgot the hierarchy. Today, Liu Li must give you an unforgettable lesson." Just as Lin Fan thought of that, he saw me unhurriedly approaching him. Right when his lips curled up, thinking I was about to apologize, I suddenly raised my head, throwing a powerful punch straight into his face. Lin Fan's head spun, his entire body dazed from the hit. Liu Li shrieked and rushed forward. "Lin Wu, how dare you hit him!" I abruptly turned my head, a terrifying, murderous aura erupting around my body. Liu Li was stunned on the spot by my expression. You, what do you want to do, you ungrateful wretch? I am your mother. Don't tell me you're planning to hit me too." My voice was ice cold, emphasizing every single word. "Since you haven't acted like a kind mother, then don't blame me for being an unfilial son. From now on, don't you dare meddle in my life ever again. If you dare do anything to me one more time, I will make Lin Fan pay 100-fold. Withdrawing my gaze, I bowed deeply to Professor Wen. "Thank you, Professor, for taking care of me these past 4 years," and said that after resolving my personal matters, I would return. Leaving those words, I decisively turned around and walked away. Not until my figure completely disappeared behind the door did Liu Li snap out of her state of shock. At this moment, right as I stepped out of the school gate, Gui Yue called me boss. "The investigation is complete. I now understand why Shen Yuchu declared she was married, yet has no idea who you are. The Shen family looks glamorous on the outside, but in such a massive clan, the undercurrents within the family have been incredibly fierce over the past years. Old Master Shen favors the eldest line and wanted to hand the entire Shen family over to the main branch to control. Shen Yuchu is the youngest daughter, so she was always suppressed in every way. A few years ago, the old master picked some absolute trash marriages for Shen Yuchu, intending to marry her off. At that time, both sides made a massive scene. It wasn't until Shen Yuchu announced she had registered her marriage with a husband of ordinary background that this matter temporarily settled down. As for mentioning this husband of hers, it's also quite interesting. He has never once shown his face in public, nor has he ever attended any of the Shen family's banquets. Combining all the clues above, there is only one truth, and that is, Gui Yue dragged out her voice, trying to act mysterious, but as a result, before she could say it, I suddenly came to a realization and understood everything. Have you found her schedule and contact info yet? Giyue missed a beat from being guessed correctly, saying awkwardly, "Her schedule for the next few days, I'll send it to you in a bit. As for her personal phone number, it couldn't be traced." "No problem, I'll go intercept her." For someone with a status like Shen Yuchu, her personal phone number is absolutely confidential. It not being traceable is also quite normal. Giyue immediately gossiped, "Around her bodyguards are everywhere, it won't be easy to get close. Are you planning to use force or keep it a bit low-key for now?" The corner of my lips curled into a highly arrogant smile. In front of the Shen Group building, I adjusted the delivery man uniform on my body. Holding a courier box, I walked inside and said to the receptionist, "There's a package for Miss Shen. The owner must sign for it directly." The receptionist made a phone call to the secretary's office and only then allowed me to go upstairs. Stepping into the private elevator, I went up to the 88th top floor. Just as I stepped out of the elevator, the view instantly opened up to an entire secretarial department, where hundreds of people were working here, all just to serve Shen Yuchu alone. I followed behind the secretary who came to meet me, successfully reaching the general manager's office and knocking on the door. A very pleasant voice came from inside. "Come in." Right when I thought I was about to meet Shen Yuchu smoothly, a figure suddenly blocked me. "Stop right there." Lu Chuang frowned, sizing me up. "Mr. Lin, why is it you again?" Lu Kuang's expression was very bad. He still remembered how I had bothered Shen Yuchu at the Lin residence yesterday. Shen Yuchu hadn't even bothered to lower herself to deal with me yet. Today, you dare to push your luck like this, even pretending to be a delivery man just to come all the way here to pester her? He waved his hand to call 2 bodyguards over. "What is the meaning of this? Without checking identities carefully, you let just any random person get up to this floor, huh? You guys kick him out of here right now for me." My expression remained unchanged. "What do you mean by this? Could it be that the Shen Group looks down on us delivery workers?" Lu Kuang sneaked a cold laugh. "You're truly good at playing the victim. We respect every profession. But are you actually a delivery man? Do you have an employee ID card?" Just as Lu Kuang finished speaking, an employee ID card was pushed right in front of his face. His expression suddenly froze. "Didn't you just register for this today?" The card in front of him was opened up with the registration date clearly written on it. Liu Kuang was dumbfounded. 8 years ago, you really were a delivery man. Working while studying, is that not allowed? My voice carried a lazy tone as I called out toward the inside of the door. "Miss Shen, can you cooperate with my work now?" "Yes, From inside the room came a pleasant voice. "Let him in." I glanced at Liu Chuang provocatively. Seeing that he was about to lose his mind, I finally slipped past him to enter the door. The office of Shen Yuchu carried a heavily minimalist yet luxurious style, making this place look a bit cold and lacking a human touch. After signing the file in her hand, Shen Yuchu finally raised her head, her sparkling eyes revealing no emotion at all. I pointed at the delivery receipt. "Miss Shen, sign here." She paused her gaze on me for a moment, then held the pen to sign her name. At this moment, I suddenly blurted out a shocking sentence. "Miss Shen, actually, you haven't married at all, right?" The tip of her pen came to a halt. She raised her head, her cold gaze locking dead onto me. I knew I had guessed correctly. When registering information at the Civil Affairs Bureau, one must fill out the personal profile by hand. There could absolutely be no mistake. Shen Yuchu always declared to the outside world that she was married, but she completely didn't know me. According to Gui Yue's investigation results, the truth could only be that Shen Yuchu, in order to deal with her family pressuring her to marry, had created a fake husband to the outside world. She had never been to the Civil Affairs Bureau, so as it turned out, she didn't know at all about the matter of us actually being married. I said seriously, "Miss Shen, I understand what I'm about to say sounds a bit hard to believe, but we really are already married." Shen Yuchu slowly sat up straight, a hint of a mocking smile crossing her face. "Mr. Lin, don't waste your energy for nothing. Even if I weren't married, there is no way I would marry you just to spite Shen Xin." I was a bit stunned. So she already knew about the matter between me and Shen Xin and thought that I was looking for her just to get revenge, which is why she always refused to believe my words. I hurriedly explained, "I am looking for you, not because of Shen Xin, but because I want a divorce from you. I am not interested in your relationship conflicts." Shen Yochu interrupted me quickly, scribbling a few times, and handed the delivery receipt back to me. "Don't come bothering me anymore. Otherwise, don't blame me for showing no mercy." Hearing this, I also started to lose my temper. "Haven't you already shown no mercy long ago? You even sent out word that you want me to disappear from Haicheng?" Shen Yuchu frowned. "When did I say that?" Before she could finish, her phone ringtone suddenly went off. It was the special ringtone designated for Grandma. She immediately answered the call. The caregiver's voice came from the other end. "Miss Shen, the old lady has disappeared again." Shen Yuchu anxiously and hurriedly ran outside. I intended to chase after her to clear things up, but was stopped by Liu Tuang. Mr. Lin, I advise you to quit while you're ahead. Just like that, I was escorted out of the Shen group. Right when I arrived at my doorstep, I suddenly turned around and saw it was the old lady from last time, creeping and tiptoeing, secretly tailing behind my back. With a helpless face, just as I was about to speak, the old lady suddenly grabbed my wrist. Grandson-in-law, don't you dare abandon Grandma again. Inside the rented house, the old lady sat by the dining table, drinking 3 glasses of water in one go. I furrowed my brows, being serious. I am really not your grandson-in-law. Yes, you are. The old lady was incredibly stubborn. She held the glass and downed another one. I knew that no matter what I said to her, nothing would get through to her, so I took out my phone and directly called the phone number from the other day. The phone rang just once and was answered immediately. Hello? I vaguely recognized that this woman's voice was very familiar. Just as I was about to say something, the phone was snatched away by the old lady. At this moment, Shen Yuchu was leading a group of people searching around this area. On the outside, she appeared calm, but in her heart, she was extremely anxious. Grandma didn't just have Alzheimer's. As an 87-year-old lady, all the organs in her body were deteriorating, meaning she could face life-threatening danger at any moment. The instant the phone rang, she answered it right away. Then she heard Grandma's cheerful voice. Girl, don't come pick me up. I'm already staying with my grandson-in-law. The phone number belonged to the guy from last time, so Grandma is staying with him again. Shen Yuchu's face darkened as she asked where she was. I'm not telling you. Do you think I can't find you if you don't tell me? You're not allowed to come look for me, and you're strictly forbidden from sending people to investigate me either. Shen Yuchu helplessly rubbed her head. She covered the mouthpiece and quietly asked the attending physician about the old lady's condition, asking if they should force her to come back. The doctor shook his head. The doctor quietly replied, the old lady currently cannot handle any excitement. It's best to go along with her wishes, and besides, the guy from last time didn't look like a bad person. With a face full of helplessness, Shen Yuchu coaxed again over the phone. Grandma, be good. I still need to bring you your medicine. No need to bring medicine, I brought it with me. Just rest assured and obediently wait for Grandma to catch that grandson-in-law back for you. The old lady finished saying the sentence and hung up with a click, returning the phone to me. With a smug look, grandson-in-law, it's all sorted out. I was dumbfounded. What kind of family member could be this unreliable, just handing an elderly person over to a stranger like that? Just as I was about to call back again, the green bubble chime notified me of a text. Someone sent a friend request through the phone number. The message read, I am the old lady's granddaughter. I accepted the other party's friend request. The granddaughter quickly sent a text. Please take care of my grandma for a while. Lately her health hasn't been good. She cannot handle any excitement. I let out a cold laugh, holding the phone and replying coldly, inconvenient. My place isn't a shelter. Before I could finish typing, there was suddenly a strange noise coming from the kitchen. I hurriedly ran over. Seeing the old lady busily boiling an egg, I casually asked, Grandma, are you hungry? But eating boiled eggs right now isn't good for you. The old lady's wrinkled face revealed a kind smile. Grandson-in-law, take this egg and roll it on your face. It will quickly clear up the bruise. I suddenly froze. Perhaps I myself didn't even notice it after being hit by my biological mother today. Even though I acted like I didn't care on the outside, in reality, my body was always shrouded in a layer of coldness, completely isolating me from this world. The old lady's words dispelled the coldness on my body, and a touch of warmth gradually returned to my eyes. After that, I looked back at my phone, seeing that in the chat box with the granddaughter, an orange banner suddenly popped up, notifying a transfer of 300,000 yuan. The note read, this is the living expenses for 1 week. If it's not enough, let me know. I looked at my input box, editing the text message to alright. I didn't understand why I suddenly decided to meddle in other people's business either. Probably because the other party paid such a generous fee. At this moment, at the Lin family home, Lin Fan's cheek was swollen, the punch mark still clearly visible. Liu Li lowered her head. That beast Lin Wu, he must be jealous. Because you're about to marry Miss Shen Xin. Wait until your dad gets back, he must give him an unforgettable lesson. At this moment, Li Shi, Ya brought her sickly body downstairs. Her voice was weak, yet her words were powerful. Lin Wu is not that kind of person. You guys must have done something to enrage him. Seeing this though, Lin Fan was unwilling. He still changed the subject. Mom, can you invite Dr. Wu to Haicheng University to be a graduate advisor? Madam Lin immediately refused Lin Fan in a stern voice. As a person, you shouldn't use favors to force others. Moreover, over all these years, Dr. Wu has helped our family's company way too much. Lin Fan wasn't surprised at all. Haicheng University is the best school here. Who knows, maybe Dr. Wu himself wants to go there. Consider it as us acting as a bridge to connect him with the school and also to repay Dr. Wu's help all this time. Madam Lin found these words reasonable, so she took out her phone and opened WeChat. Then let Mom ask him. Lin Fan sat next to Madam Lin. Dr. Wu has helped our family so much. Any favors have long been fully repaid. Should our family set up a banquet to entertain him a bit? When the time comes, wouldn't it be better for you to ask him directly? Dr. Wu had always given face to Madam Lin. As long as he came, I will bring up my wish to become his graduate student. Dr. Wu will definitely not refuse. Madam Lin was convinced. She sent a message to Dr. Wu on WeChat. Xiao Wu, when you're free, come over to my house to hang out. After I saw this message, my heart immediately skipped a beat. Why did Madam Lin suddenly want to meet up? Could it be that her health wasn't good? Thinking of Madam Lin's coughs, my heart burned with anxiety. I stood right up to go outside. Yes, I'll head over right now. Just as I was about to hurriedly head out the door, another message from Madam Lin was sent over. You don't need to come over now. On Saturday, you still have to work overtime, right? I just want to invite you to an intimate dinner. Only now did I realize that I had truly let my anxiety cloud my judgment. Thinking back to the scene 10 years ago when I was kicked out of the Lin family, a bitter smile appeared on the corner of my lips. So many years have passed, it's about time to meet once. I messaged back, I should be the one to treat you. 6 o'clock Saturday evening, be there or be square. After saying that, I immediately sent a restaurant location over. When I exited Madam Lin's chat box, I noticed Shen Yuchu had sent a few messages giving some notes on how to care for the old lady. Seeing this, I quietly stepped into the second bedroom recording a short video for Shen Yuchu. On the road, not too far away, 2 brand new custom vehicles were parking quietly. Shen Yuchu was sitting on the sofa working on her laptop when a notification sound came from WeChat. Shen Yuchu picked it up to take a look, and following that, her face, which usually looked like 10,000-year-old unmelting ice, suddenly showed a flash of astonishment. The family doctor hurriedly asked, "Did something happen to the old lady?" Shen Yuchu bit her lip and handed the video over for him to see, showing Grandma lying on a floral bedsheet, sleeping very soundly. At this time, it was only 9 o'clock in the evening. Normally, if she could sleep before 1 o'clock in the morning, it would truly be a miracle. The family doctor had a face full of amazement. The old lady is truly special towards this young man. If we can let him always stay by the old lady's side, her health will definitely take a turn for the better. Shen Yuchu's gaze was deep, seemingly calculating something. The next morning, I received messages from Shen Yuchu. After a few exchanges, it always gave Shen Yuchu the feeling of chatting with a kindred soul. 1016. She suddenly asked if she could come over to visit Grandma tonight. She suddenly asked, "Can I go visit Grandma tonight?" "Of course, you're always welcome." After that, I sent the apartment location to her. While standing and waiting outside the door, a familiar voice suddenly drifted over. I turned my head, facing a familiar face. It was Shen Xin. The face that was always gentle and thoughtful in my memory was now looking at me with a gloomy expression. Back in college, I was always a loner, while Shen Xin was enthusiastic and outgoing, always standing by my side and could be considered my only friend. It was just that currently the relationship between us was a bit awkward. I hesitated for a moment, speaking up. "Is there something?" Shen Xin smiled faintly. "Lin Fan has already told me everything about your background. Why did you hide it? And keep it a secret, making me look like a fool running after someone like you for a whole 4 years. Is it fun?" My heart felt like it was being squeezed by a giant hand. I didn't expect a 4-year college friendship to be shattered this easily. I took a step back to keep my distance. Shen Xin took a step forward, again questioning. "You have nothing you want to explain to me?" I let out a scoff. "Nothing." Finishing my words, I turned around intending to leave. Since she already looked down on my background like that, then having this friend or not didn't matter at all. My decisiveness made Shunshin strangely annoyed, seeing me getting further and further away from her without even thinking. She grabbed my wrist. "You're not allowed to leave." I turned back to look at her. What else is there? Shunshin's expression was tense, the anger in her heart surging. Clearly, the one who let go first was me, so why does it look as if I'm the one being abandoned here? Following that, I heard her sarcastic voice. "Still doing manual labor here. Proves you still haven't found any decent job, huh? How about you come be my personal assistant and serve me?" I broke free from her grasp. Coldly refusing, "I'm afraid I can't handle it." Shensin continued to persist. "There's no need for you to do much. I have an apartment near the company. You just need to live there, take care of my daily meals, and serve me, that's all. Each month, I'll pay you 50,000 yuan. My gaze instantly turned dead cold. "You want to keep me as a sugar baby?" Shensin sneered. "You'll definitely do great at this job. After all, your mother is also the type of mistress who forces her way into someone else's family. You've been exposed to it since childhood, so it can be called a family tradition. I believe you'll be very professional." Hearing that, I shoved her hard, making her fall straight to the ground. Looking at her coldly, Enough. But she stood up, not angry, and even laughed. I'll give you time to think about it. If you change your mind, just come find me anytime. Shen left those words and walked away. I leaned back and let out a wry laugh. In the evening, Shen Yuchu left work right on time, arriving at the old apartment complex in the suburbs. In her hands, she carried some fruits, knocking on the door according to the address received on WeChat. Looking very healthy, Grandma looks very healthy. Only now did Shen Yuchu look around. Though it was just a 2-bedroom apartment, measuring about 60 square meters, it was very neat and cozy. The sound of running water from the bathroom drifted out. Shen Yuchu felt as if she'd been shocked by electricity and hurriedly withdrew her gaze. The private doctor who followed behind her was about to step through the door, but was stopped by her, "Hand the equipment to me. You go to the car and wait." Shen Yuchu quickly checked Grandma's blood pressure, as well as blood sugar and heart rate, probably thanks to getting a really good sleep last night. All the stats are incredibly stable. The old lady said proudly, "My grandson-in-law takes very thorough care of me." Seeing is believing. Shen Yuchu finally let out a sigh of relief. She glanced toward the bathroom once more, then packed up the equipment. "Seeing that you're fine, I'll be taking my leave now." The old lady was stunned. "You're not staying for dinner? Grandson-in-law's cooking is delicious." "No, thank you. It's not very convenient." Shen Yuchu set the testing equipment down. "Just leave this here for Grandma." The old lady rolled her eyes, thinking, "Take it with you. Leaving it here, grandson-in-law wouldn't even know how to use these things anyway. Moreover, I don't like Dr. Xiaofeng coming here. I want you to come check on me every single day." Just as Shen Yuchu was about to say something, the water sound in the bathroom suddenly stopped completely. She hurriedly stood up, carrying the medical box and leaving in a rush. "Then I'll leave first. I'll come back tomorrow." Right at the moment the door closed, I had also just finished putting on my clothes and stepped out from the bathroom. "Where is your granddaughter?" "She left. She kept saying it's inconvenient. That girl is always overly serious, constantly wearing a cold expression on her face. Grandson-in-law, is that why you don't like her? Everything can be fixed, you know." "I already told you I'm not your grandson-in-law, Grandma." I could only sigh helplessly. After a few days of living together, I found the old lady to be very kind. She went along with my wishes in everything except for this one matter where she was incredibly stubborn. A few days later, the old lady suddenly wanted to go home to fetch a few more sets of clothes. So I messaged that granddaughter asking for the address, but when I opened the location pin, I suddenly froze. Manor number 1, isn't this the Shen residence? This is the most famous, wealthy district in Haicheng. I had assumed the old lady's house was just some small villa, never daring to think of the Grand Shen clan. But when we arrived, I looked up at the luxurious, large black gate. The black gate looked majestic with intricately carved patterns. I hesitantly asked Grandma, "Is this your house?" The old lady was still drowsy, her eyes a bit dazed. "Grandson-in-law, I don't remember anymore." Helpless, I had to message the granddaughter. She replied right away, "You guys just wait there, I'll be right over." Not long after, a luxury car pulled up in front of us. Lin Fan and Liu Li stepped down from the back seats, rushing right in front of us. Liu Li frowned, staring dead at me. "As expected, it's you. What kind of trick are you trying to pull here?" Today, she was using the identity of a maid to accompany Lin Fan to the Shen residence for a visit. From afar, they saw someone loitering in front of the Shen family gate, never expecting that person would actually be me. Lin Fan looked at the tightly closed gate of the Shen residence. "Lin Wu, are you planning to come here again to pester Miss Shen Yuchu?" As soon as these words were blurted out, Liu Li roared, "You beast! Do you not see what day it is today? Get lost from me right now if you dare ruin Lin Fan's engagement ceremony. I'll risk my life to fight you." Even though I utterly detested them because the old lady was here, I didn't want a conflict to break out. So I had to suppress the anger in my heart. "I am taking Grandma home. We just took the wrong turn a bit." Lin Fan blurted out mockingly, "Isn't this your penniless wife's grandma? How could she possibly live in this district?" I replied coldly, "Why couldn't she?" Liu Li stood to the side, insulting, "What are you putting on an act for? As if the grandma of your dirt-poor wife deserves to live here." She turned around and yelled at the old lady, "Hey, old woman, why don't you tell me which villa number you live in? Let's hear it." Hearing that, I knit my brows. Just as I was about to speak, the old lady suddenly startled. "I remember now. I really do live here. Grandson-in-law, follow Grandma home." She grabbed my hand, pulling me toward the main gate of the Shen residence. From here to the gate was still about 100 meters away, but after only a few steps, Lin Fan spoke up. "Lin Wu, you can make up all kinds of excuses. So it turns out you still plan to use this old woman as a shield to sneak into the Shen residence, huh?" I froze, then suddenly looked toward the front of the Shen residence. Even though When I saw this magnificent gate, I had already faintly guessed it in my heart, but I simply couldn't connect the image of that polite and gentle granddaughter on WeChat with a Shen Yuchu who was so cold and ruthless. Perhaps the old lady remembered it wrong. Right when I was about to reconfirm, Liu Li suddenly went crazy, rushing forward, trying to grab the old lady. I won't let you guys go into the Shen residence to cause trouble. I was startled, protecting the old lady with one arm, while with my other hand I tightly grabbed Liu Li and used my strength to push her away. What do you think you're doing? Liu Li was pushed back repeatedly after securing a firm footing. She immediately started throwing a tantrum. You ungrateful, white-eyed wolf. You dare to strike your own biological mother just for the sake of an old hag. I'm going to call the police to arrest you. I didn't bother to waste my breath on her hurriedly turning around to check on the old lady's condition. When had the old lady ever been insulted by someone like this? I looked over and as expected, she was already shaking all over from anger. She clutched her chest tightly, her body convulsing continuously due to the emotional distress. I hurriedly supported her, quickly taking out the heart relief medicine bottle from her coat pocket. However, when I opened the bottle cap, only then did I discover that the inside was completely empty. My pupils contracted. Her health was already very weak. Unless it was an absolute emergency, performing CPR was not allowed. If it wasn't a matter of life and death, the best way was still for her to take medicine. I stared dead toward the main gate. The Shen residents must have medicine. Even if the old lady isn't from the Shen family, they are still neighbors. They definitely won't just stand by and watch someone die. I scooped the old lady up in my arms but was pulled backward with force by Lin Fan. Lin Wu, stop putting on a show. The Shen family will never harbor a person of your kind. He looked at the old lady, a flicker of malice appearing in his eyes. At this moment, I was truly enraged to the point of going mad. A sky-high flame of fury erupted in my eyes. I raised my leg and kicked straight out, sending him tumbling to the ground. But in the very next second, my leg was tightly hugged by someone. Liu Li was sitting flat on the ground, discarding all her image as she used all her strength to lock her arms around my leg. I was shaking with rage, but because I was still holding the old lady in my arms, I couldn't break free immediately for the time being. Right at this moment, a black Bentley slowly approached. Shen Yuchu stepped down from the car, her voice stern. What are you guys doing? Lin Fan hurriedly spoke up. Miss Shen, it's Lin Wu. He insisted on bringing a dying old hag to the Shen residence to scam you guys. It's also my fault for not stopping him. Hearing that, the moment she saw the person I was holding was Grandma, her pupils suddenly contracted. She hurriedly ran over toward us. Grandma was her absolute closest family member. Over the past years, her health had been deteriorating day by day. Shen Yuchu was clearly panicking to the extreme. I didn't have time to explain much. Hurriedly saying, her heart condition flared up and the medicine she brought along just happened to run out. As long as she takes the medicine in time, she'll be fine. Shen Yuchu bit her lip tightly, taking Grandma over, then rushed straight into the house without once looking back. I couldn't follow them because my leg was still being tightly hugged by Liu Li. Lin Fan was still feeling doubtful about the old lady's identity. Only now did Liu Li let go of me, dusting herself off while mocking. Wasn't it by relying on this matter that he brought that old corpse to barge into the Shen residence? At this moment, the gate of the Shen residence opened, and Shen Xin walked out from inside. Lin Fan showed a clear look of fake flattery. Sister Shen Xin, you could have just waited for me at the parking lot. Why go through the trouble of coming all the way to the gate to meet me? Shen Xin forced herself to squeeze out a bit of gentleness. I was afraid it's your first time here and you wouldn't know the way in. Right after that, she looked over at me. Her gentle look instantly turned into fury. Lin Wu, did you come here because you finally thought things through? I darkened my face, not saying a single word. If you want to be a sugar baby, you could have just called me. Who gave you permission to come to the Shen residence, huh? The gate of the Shen family? Does an illegitimate son like you really think you can just step inside? Shen Xin let out a cold snort. But if you really want to come in to broaden your horizons, I suppose that's fine too. Sister, you've misunderstood, Lin Fan interrupted. Lin Wu is waiting for his wife's grandma's sister. That old woman just had a heart attack and was carried inside for emergency care by Miss Shen Yuchu. Shen Xin's eyes suddenly turned red as she gnashed her teeth. What a wife, Lin Wu, who is that woman? I looked at her with pure mockery. Shen Xin, who my wife is, has absolutely nothing to do with you. Why does it have nothing to do with me? Let me see. Without my permission, let's see who has the guts to marry you. Lin Fan hurriedly added more fuel to the fire. I heard Lin Wu's mom say, she's just some low-life girl from the streets. Shen Xin clenched her fist tightly. Do you just love degrading yourself like this? Birds of a feather really do flock together. An illegitimate son matching with a street girl is a perfect fit. Lin Fan continued to spice things up. Lin Wu doesn't care either, right? That's why he always finds ways to pester Miss Shen Yuchu. I let out a scoff. Lin Fan, you're always so proud of being the young master of the Lin family, so why is your head completely filled with such filthy and despicable things? Is there nothing else? Hearing this, Lin Fan's face hardened as he clenched his fists. I know you're doing this to take revenge on me and Sister Shen Xin, but Miss Shen Yuchu has long been married. Don't be so thick-skinned as to go destroy someone else's family. Shen Xin was fuming with rage upon hearing that. For the past 2 days, she had been waiting for my phone call, thinking that as long as I knew my place and begged, she could also be generous enough to spare me a way to survive. So it turns out I had already found another better target long ago. Thinking of this, she suddenly became furious. I already suspected it. Why else would your wife's grandma happen to fall sick? Right in front of my gate, turns out you deliberately came here to get close to my Aunt Lin Wu. How can you be this shameless? She flew into a raging fury, pointing her finger at me and ordered the guards, have you taken a good look? Remember this face for me. He is strictly forbidden from entering the Shen residence, not even a single step. Lin Fan lowered his head, hiding a smug smile on the corner of his lips. At this gate of the Shen residence, Shen Xin still held a certain amount of say in this house. However, in the very next second, the butler of the Shen family stepped out from inside. He glanced over the crowd, then walked straight to face me. Mr. Lin Wu, Miss Shen Yuchu invites you inside. Lin Fan froze in shock, while Shen Xin's jaw dropped in astonishment. I looked up at the guard with a meaningful smile. So can I go in now? The guard timidly glanced at Shen Xin, then opened the gate wide without any hesitation. In this Shen family, who the real master is, he still understood better than anyone. After entering the house, Shen Xin's group also tagged along dejectedly behind. Liu Li glared daggers at me, muttering, Miss Shen Yuchu probably called you in just to take that old woman back. Once you get her, know your place and get lost immediately, okay? Don't let a filthy person like you dirty the Shen family's carpet. Following those words, the entire group entered the living room together. Just with one glance, they saw the old matriarch of the Shen family sitting majestically in the main seat. The old lady glared at them with pure rage. You wicked woman, who did you call a beast? By now, she had changed into a highly luxurious outfit, though her complexion still didn't look very good. Shen Yuchu sat coldly right beside her. Liu Li stood there completely dumbfounded while Lin Fan's limbs went entirely numb, his face turning completely pale. He staggered, almost collapsing onto the floor. But fortunately, Shen Xin caught him just in time. What's wrong with you? Lin Fan's hands were shaking violently. He suddenly flashed a bitter smile. Lin Wu, why did you lie to me and say the old matriarch of the Shen family was your wife's grandma, huh? Because of you, we accidentally offended and showed disrespect to the old matriarch. I immediately felt several doubtful gazes locking onto me. Liu Li also reacted quickly. You knew clearly that the old matriarch suffers from Alzheimer's, yet you still have the guts to deceive her. What do you take the Shen family for, huh? Kneel down and apologize to the old matriarch right now. My gaze darkened. Trying to dump all the blame on my head again, I see. Lin Fan took the chance to whitewash himself. What a dirty and petty trick. Clank. A teacup was thrown straight at them by the old lady, hitting Liu Li right on the body. Scalding hot tea splashed all over her, yet Liu Li didn't even dare to let out a single cry. You scoundrel! Grandma shouted in rage. He is my grandson-in-law. Liu Li suppressed his pain from the burn, forcing out, Old matriarch, you've been deceived by him. I'm absolutely sure his wife is just a lowlife from the streets. There's no need to argue anymore. Just ask the person involved directly and everything will be clear. Shenxin's mother, standing nearby, also spoke up. Yu Chu. Is he really your husband? I quietly looked toward Shen Yuchu, and then heard the answer exactly as expected. No, he's not. What an ungrateful woman, repaying kindness with betrayal. A flash of fury sparked in my eyes, while Lin Fan showed a clear look of joy. He let out a huge sigh of relief, and Liu Li pouted. I told you so. This was all a wicked trick played by that brat Lin Wu. I let out a cold laugh, and just as I was about to open my mouth, I heard her voice ring out once again. It's just that Grandma mistook him for someone else, so I asked Mr. Lin Wu here to help take care of her for a period of time. Everyone fell completely silent. Nobody expected the story to take a plot twist like this. Lin Fan lowered his head. So that's how it is, Lin Wu. Why didn't you explain the truth to us? If you'd said it earlier, this terrible misunderstanding wouldn't have happened. Mr. Lin Fan, Shen Yuchu leaned back against the sofa, looking casual, but the words she spoke carried an overwhelming pressure. Only knowing how to escape and push responsibilities onto others, is that how the Lin family raises their dog? The old matriarch of the Shen family also realized the truth upon hearing this. She barked in anger. Do you guys think my mind has a problem? So I can't see through your petty little tricks. Committing a fault without knowing repentance and even trying to shift the blame to others, you two are truly shameless. The old matriarch looked over at Shenxin, canceled the engagement. I won't accept this grandson-in-law. Lin Fan's entire body shook. The marriage that he had spent so much effort to secure couldn't just be lost like this. He turned to look at Shenxin, but saw her spacing out, her eyes glued tightly onto me. Clearly, she still hadn't recovered from the shock of the news that I already had a wife. Lin Fan clenched his fist tightly. He lowered his head and walked up to Shenxin. Sister Shenxin, it's my fault. Don't worry, even if the engagement is cancelled. I will still fulfill my promise to introduce Dr. Wu to you. Shenxin snapped out of it. Lin Fan still held the trump card, which was Dr. Wu. In China's new energy industry today, Dr. Wu was a top-tier powerhouse. She hurriedly spoke to the old matriarch. Grandma Lin Fan only misspoke because he didn't know. Please forgive him. Moreover, both families have already exchanged the betrothal gifts, so it's really not convenient to cancel the engagement right now. The old matriarch gave her a deep look. Suit yourself. The matters of the younger generation should be decided by their parents. She didn't want to waste any more breath, but Shenxin's mother smiled and said, Grandma, did you forget to give the meeting gift to your grandson-in-law? Hearing this, the old matriarch of the Shen family instantly darkened her expression. I will have someone transfer it to Shenxin. 180,000 yuan. Shenxin's mother's face stiffened. But didn't you say earlier that you'd give them a 2% share because you worried they might be short on cash right after getting married? If you asked who the wealthiest person in the Shen family was, it would definitely be the old matriarch of the Shen family. She originally came from a wealthy clan in the capital. Her dowry was absolutely massive. And she even held 20% of the shares in the Shen Corporation. Shenxin's mother had long plotted to use this marriage to dig up a massive fortune from her. Everything had initially been negotiated smoothly, but the old matriarch suddenly changed her mind. The old matriarch of the Shen family looked at her with a look that was half smiling and half not. I don't like this grandson-in-law from earlier at all, so I'm calling it off and not giving it anymore. Lin Fan's face turned pale white, feeling so humiliated that he wanted to crawl into a hole. The Shen family does not lack servants. This statement will definitely spread outside. By then, all of Haicheng will know he has made it onto the old matriarch's blacklist. Wealthy families value reputation the most, and the old matriarch today had truly taken his dignity and trampled it mercilessly. But this eccentric old lady couldn't care less. After saying that sentence, she directly pulled me along with Shen Yuchu toward her courtyard, then found an excuse to slip away, telling Shen Yuchu to entertain her grandson-in-law well on her behalf before hurriedly leading her people away. In the blink of an eye, only me and Shen Yuchu were left in the courtyard. Under the night sky, me and Shen Yuchu stood side by side. Just as I was weighing how to open my mouth, Shen Yuchu suddenly looked at me, her eyes filled with disgust. You're truly a shameless broke loser. That's as low as it gets. I wasn't about to back down either, abruptly looking at her with a serious expression. You dummy. Shen Yuchu's face instantly turned green. To trick Grandma into even telling you that you're really something. As expected, your intentions aren't pure. Grandma clinging to you might have been an accident, with no signs of planning behind this matter, but for a guy like you to kindly take her in. Maybe it's because Grandma accidentally let slip her wealthy background. I shot a sarcastic comment back at her, but didn't forget the main task. I remember your text saying you'd do me a favor. So can you come with me to the Civil Affairs Bureau to check my marital status? Shen Yuchu's face darkened and she spoke up impatiently. Fine, let's go. If it's not true, I hope you won't use Green Grandma as an excuse to cling to me anymore. The old lady's head popped out from the window. You rotten girl. Are you bullying my grandson-in-law again? Hearing this, Shen Yuchu's face instantly froze. Of course not. Tonight's dinner was simple. 4 dishes and 1 soup. Just enough for 3 people. It was just that the old lady didn't have much of an appetite. After a few bites, she put down her chopsticks. Grandson-in-law, I'm tired. Let's go home. Grandma, stop torturing yourself. Just rest at home tonight. This small courtyard looked just like a mini high-end nursing home fully equipped with all kinds of medical machinery. But the old lady anxiously grabbed my hand. Then can you stay behind to keep me company? I furrowed my brows and glanced at Shen Yuchu. In reality, I didn't feel safe leaving Grandma either. But this ice Queen wife openly despised me, suspecting that I was using Grandma to get close. She would definitely not agree. Shen Yuchu went silent for a moment. All right. Next, she shot me a meaningful glance. Clearly, she was doing all this for Grandma, wanting to remind me not to have any delusional thoughts. After eating, I took Grandma back to her room to rest. She must have been truly exhausted today, plus she had just gone through a medical flare-up. So she fell back asleep the moment she lay down. Even while sleeping, her posture was full of anxiety. Helpless, I could only sit by the bed to watch over her. Outside the window, Shen Yuchu had a serious look on her face. What's wrong with Grandma? The family doctor had studied psychology before. He let out a heavy sigh. Even though I don't know why the old matriarch defaults to this young man being her grandson-in-law, I can more or less guess why the old matriarch is so insecure and is even afraid that her grandson-in-law will run away. Next, the family doctor took another look at Shen Yuchu. The old matriarch probably feels that she won't make it past this year anymore. She is afraid that once she passes away, you will have no one left to rely on. Your grandson-in-law is the only person she can leave by your side. Miss Shen Yuchu was stunned, and in her dark eyes, uncontrollable emotions were surging. Only after a long while did she regain her composure. She stared at the moon, which seemed about to melt completely into the darkness behind. Not knowing how much time had passed, the woman suddenly turned around, striding back toward the main mansion. This dinner was no different from chewing wax to Lin Fan because he had just lost a 2% share into someone else's hands. Shen Xin's mother, Liu Mizhen, was extremely dissatisfied. She spoke while taking sharp jabs at him without any reservation. Isn't Lin Wu just that bastard son from your family? How can he coax the old lady so happily like that while you can't? Lin Fan could only lower his head and apologize. Auntie, my mouth isn't as sweet as Lin Wu's. Liu Mizhen sneered. I don't care what method you use, you must get that 2% share back from me. Otherwise, don't even dream of stepping foot into the Shen family's door. Lin Fan swallowed his bitterness and was unable to utter a single word. With great difficulty, the dinner was finally over, and he could finally excuse himself to go home. But before he could even leave, Shen Yuchu returned. The moment she walked in, she radiated a massive, overwhelming aura. After she glanced over the leftover food on the table, her expression became even uglier. Grandma couldn't eat a single bite tonight. Yet, you guys are actually here feasting and drinking happily like this. Seeing her expression, Liu Mizhen didn't even dare to speak up. It was still Shen Qin's father, Shen Yuanjie, who frowned and asked, Yuchu, why did you come here, Shen? Yuchu didn't even bother to pay attention to this nominal cousin of hers. Her gaze locked onto Lin Fan. Since the engagement isn't cancelled, for now he is still considered part of the Shen family. Since he is part of the Shen family, then he must obey the Shen family's rules. Today he dared to be disrespectful to his elders, so he is punished to kneel at the ancestral hall to repent for one night. Shen Yuchu didn't waste another word, directly waving her hand toward the back. Two bodyguards walked up in front of Lin Fan. Young Master Lin, please follow us. Lin Fan looked at Shen Xin for help, but saw that she basically didn't dare to say a word before the authority of the one in power. He took a deep breath and could only follow the bodyguards. Before stepping out of the door, he heard Shen Xin ask her aunt, where is Lin Wu? Did he leave? Following that was Shen Yuchu's powerful warning. He is my guest and will stay at the Shen residence tonight. Lin Fan went to the ancestral hall along with the bodyguards. The young lady already said, you two are not married yet, so you are not allowed to enter the Shen family's ancestral hall. Just kneel outside in the courtyard to repent. Outside was entirely covered in green brick floor. Lin Fan was about to say something, but the two bodyguards crossed their arms behind their backs, staring coldly at him. The night was getting very cold, and Lin Fan was shivering violently, the bone-chilling cold piercing from his knees straight into his marrow. He intended to slack off a bit, but those two bodyguards were just like guardian deities standing watch over him, not saying a word, but still enough to send shivers down one's spine. The next morning when I woke up, I was lying on a bed with a thin pink blanket covering my body. For an old lady, this room's decor style was a bit strange. I didn't think too much about it, and after washing up, I had breakfast together with the old lady and Shen Yuchu. On the table sat a plate of fried sugar cakes. The old lady immediately picked one up with her chopsticks. Shen Yuchu frowned. Grandma, your blood sugar is high. It's not suitable for you to eat this kind of oily and sugary food. Just as she was pondering how to stop her, she heard me say indifferently, Grandma, this cake isn't suitable for you. Following that, the old lady, who was originally stubborn and greedy for food, actually dropped the piece of cake into my bowl. The old lady giggled completely, trying to please her grandson-in-law. I'm putting it in your bowl. Shen Yuchu looked at me with a scrutinized gaze, not understanding why Grandma listened to me so much. I didn't bother being polite and ate the sugar cake right away, then looked over at Shen Yuchu. By the way, when we go to the Civil Affairs Bureau later, remember to bring your ID and household registration booklet. The old lady asked curiously, what are you two going to the Civil Affairs Bureau for? Our marriage certificate is lost, Grandma. But unexpected to these words just spoken, the old lady spoke up again. It's not lost. She hurriedly ran into the bedroom. Very quickly, I saw her holding two red booklets, which were the marriage certificates, and handing them to me and Shen Yuchu. I stared blankly at the booklet in my hand, suddenly realizing, so it turns out, the first time I met Grandma, her calling me grandson-in-law wasn't because of her dementia. She had always known that we were married. I also felt that I had grasped a bit of a clue, so I immediately asked Grandma, why is this marriage certificate at your place? The old lady was stunned, her gaze becoming a bit dazed. I don't remember clearly anymore. Then how did Miss Shen and I get married? The old lady continued to shake her head. Don't remember. I started to get anxious. Grandma tried hard to recall it carefully. Enough! Shen Yuchu gave a cold snort, stepping directly to block between me and the old lady. Her cold gaze looked at me. Mr. Lin, if this proof is real, are you going to say next that there's no need to go to the Civil Affairs Bureau anymore? So your ultimate goal was right here. First, using the trip to the Civil Affairs Bureau, this righteous name of being a stalker, as a stepping stone, and then coaxing Grandma to pull out this fake proof to make her believe it's real. I felt the tone of this woman radiating a murderous aura, feeling it was truly baffling. Not going today is fine too. After all, the matter of divorce isn't something that's done just by hauling our asses to the Civil Affairs Bureau. For the past 2 years, we've been a legal couple, which involves a lot of property division issues. We need to sign a divorce agreement first. No way. After Shen Yuchu finished speaking, she stared intently at me, but seeing me slightly dazed, then helplessly dropping a sentence, up to you. Is his acting just too perfect? Or is this marriage certificate the real deal? Shen Yuchu suddenly felt uncertain. She decisively took the marriage certificate and walked out first. I'll wait in the parking lot. I smiled to reassure the old lady. The moment we arrived at the parking lot, we saw Liu Li, supporting Lin Fan, whose face was completely pale. Seeing me coming out, she aggressively rushed over. I must teach you a lesson, Lin Wu. You are a bastard son. But the Lin family didn't mind your background and raised you up. Even if there's no merit, there's still hard work in raising you up. You should also repay the Lin family. These cheap brainwashing lines were something I had to listen to for 20 whole years. Hearing them again now, I only found it extremely laughable. Seeing me silent, Liu Li took the chance to say, now that you're grown up, you finally have a chance to repay the Lin family. Lin Wu, isn't the old matriarch of the Shen family very obedient to you? Tell her to return that 2% share to your older brother. Hearing this, I suddenly burst out laughing. I am just a lowly, illegitimate son, so how could the old matriarch of the Shen family listen to me? Liu Li was stunned, about to say something more. But I had already strided past her, getting directly into Shen Yuchu's car. The car quickly arrived at the Civil Affairs Bureau. Just as it stopped completely, Liu Chuang chased after them in a panic. Boss, the driver said you drove here yourself, which scared me so much that I hurriedly chased after the GPS. Did something happen? Shen Yuchu was as brief with her words as gold. Why did the boss come here? Don't tell me you've really been pestered by this. Lin Wu guy to the point of being mentally unstable. Don't worry, boss. I already said it. There's no way he'll ever see you again. Otherwise, I'll live stream myself eating crap straight up. I sat in the back seat, speaking in a lazy tone. What's your live stream room number so I can go watch? Liu Kuang's body stiffened just like that. The three of us stepped into the service hall. Liu Kuang took the lead to ask first. Hi, miss. May I ask, can someone pick up the certificate if the actual owner isn't present? Of course not, the staff member replied. Liu Kuang looked at me smugly. Did you hear that? You even prepared a fake certificate beforehand? Now I'm going to call the police and sue you for forgery and harassing others. Shen Youchu handed the documents over instead. Please check for me whether this marriage certificate is real or fake. After looking it up, the staff member gave the answer. This certificate is real. How can that be? Could it be that you entered the wrong information? Liu Tuang screamed in horror. What nonsense are you talking about? Marriage is a serious matter. When both parties come to register, they must thoroughly verify their identities and sign a commitment form. I immediately spoke up. Could you let us see that commitment form? Shen Yuchu also nodded. Please let us see the commitment form. The public servant sighed and stood up. You two as husband and wife are truly of one mind. Your acting is really deep. All right, let me go find it. Wait a moment. 2 registration files were brought in front of us. I glanced over the handwriting on them. This was indeed my own handwriting. Liu Tuang leaned in close and cried out in a lost voice. Boss, this really is your signature. Shen Yuchu went silent. I looked over at the staff. Hi, miss. Could you let us review the surveillance video from the registration day? Very sorry. We only keep the videos for half a year. The staff member stated with certainty once again. There are absolutely no errors in the procedure. It is mandatory that both of you were present to get the documents done. The 3 of us walked out of the Civil Affairs Bureau. Liu Kuang was a bit dazed. Boss, what should we do now? Shen Yuchu's gaze darkened. Divorce. I raised my eyebrows. Divorce. Both of us spoke in unison once again. Liu Kuang was stunned and asked again. So we're getting a divorce right now? Do we need to discuss the divorce condition? I'll have my lawyer contact you. Just talk to my lawyer. Me and Shen Yuchu spoke in unison for the 3rd time. I burst out laughing and decisively suggested, how about this? Let's just look over the agreement drafted by each side's lawyer first. If there are any issues, let the lawyers negotiate later. Liu Kuang sneered, a guy like you actually expects to hire a lawyer. Shen Yuchu nodded in agreement anyway. I didn't bother to argue with Liu Tuang, taking out my phone and saying, Miss Shen scanned my WeChat QR code to make it easier to contact each side later. Shen Yuchu gave me a meaningful look and then opened her QR code. I scanned it and the chat history popped up along with the contact note. Just looking at the words silly niece, her face instantly turned black. I also felt extremely awkward, having completely forgotten that we had added each other before. Facing her death stare, I gave a dry cough. That nickname note was just something I randomly set for fun before. I conveniently changed her nickname to Dummy, leaving a sentence, "see you later," and then hailed a car to leave. In the car, I called Ji Yue, "Find the best divorce lawyer for me. Absolutely do not let her get a single penny from me." "Big brother, what's this deal about you being married? Could it be that both of you suffered from mass amnesia or something?" I let out a heavy sigh. There's definitely one person who knows this matter clearly. Is it the old matriarch of the Shen family? I furrowed my brows. Those clinical trial drugs for Alzheimer's, we must speed up the progress on them. Otherwise, it'll be too late. Returning home, the eccentric old lady was already waiting at the door with a suitcase. "Grandson-in-law, you're back. I brought a lot of clothes with me." I paused slightly, unconsciously letting out a bitter smile. On that day, the most famous law firm in Haicheng received 2 anonymous entrustments. The requests from both sides were strangely identical. The opposing party is not allowed to take a single penny away. Lawyer Li muttered, "I've never seen a couple so heartless to each other like this." The lawyer then smiled cheerfully. One contract doubled the payout. Send it to the client. After that, Shen Yuchu was at the office. When she received my divorce agreement, she had just opened it when Liu Kuang pushed the door open and walked in. "Boss, the investigation results are out. Lin Wu only found out the 2 of you were married a few days before going to register. For a few years after he left the Lin family. A lot of his information couldn't be traced. This matter is very strange." Shen Yuchu fell into deep thought. "So you think this matter must be related to him? The purpose is still unclear. In addition, that researchers' whereabouts are unstable. We haven't contacted them yet." Shen Yuchu said nothing. How could she expect that the clinical drug for Alzheimer's was actually a product researched by me? At dusk, Shen Yuchu asked me downstairs, handing the agreement to me. "I have no objection, sign it." She thought I would refuse, but I signed my name without any hesitation. "Let's get divorced tomorrow then." "In such a rush, are you rushing to get reincarnated?" I secretly mocked in my heart. "The company is still waiting to go through the procedures to go public. See you tomorrow morning at the Civil Affairs Bureau." While talking, the old matriarch of the Shen family came downstairs. Her face was deathly pale, her voice trembling. "Are you two planning to get divorced?" Right after the words fell, she closed her eyes and collapsed straight onto the ground. Outside the hospital ward, the doctor seriously advised, "The old matriarch must not suffer any more emotional shock. Absolutely do not make her angry." Shen Yuchu sat on the long bench, her hands unable to stop trembling slightly. Waiting until the old matriarch woke up, she looked at me, her voice hoarse. "Grandson-in-law, I dreamed that you and that rotten girl were getting a divorce. That's not true, right?" I said nothing. Shen Youchu, who was by the side, spoke up instead. "It's not true, Grandma. Then we won't divorce anymore. I'll give the household registration and marriage certificate to you to keep." "Yes." Shen Yuchu agreed to every request. The old lady looked over at me again. "Grandson-in-law, what that rotten girl said is true, right?" Thinking of the doctor's advice, I stayed silent for a long while. "It's true." During the night, I sat on the sofa processing research materials in English. WeChat popped up with a message from Dummy. "Wait until Grandma's health stabilizes before getting the divorce." I replied with a text. "Fine by me. Anyway, the agreement is already signed. We each go our separate ways. No one owes anyone." Shen Yuchu texted again. "Do you have any other requests?" "Grandma gets well and getting a quick divorce is enough." The old lady looked at me, then looked at her suddenly, saying, "You rotten girl, I want you to arrange for my grandson-in-law a job at the Shen Group." Shen Yuchu paused slightly, then replied. The old lady said excitedly, "Tomorrow, just go to work together with this rotten girl." I agreed straight away. The database of the Shen Group was very rich, which just happened to be convenient for me to look up materials. After that, Shen Yuchu took Liu Chuang and left. In the hallway, Liu Kuang complained, "Boss, he definitely wants to infiltrate the company. Why did you agree? If I don't keep him under my eyes, how can I make him show his foxtail?" Shen Yuchu said coldly. In the ward, the old lady waved her hand to call me over. "Grandson-in-law, Grandma will secretly tell you a secret. If that rotten girl bullies you, then you just snap right back for Grandma. Don't look at her face that always acts dangerous. Actually, she's terrified of cats." I was stunned. In my memory, the older sister I knew back then seemed to be very afraid of cats too. "Grandson-in-law, do you like cats or dogs?" "I like dogs." I suddenly realized I used to like cats before, but she didn't like them, so I didn't like them anymore. Very quickly, I understood why the old lady asked this question. The next day, at the rooftop of the Shen Group, a small, adorable Shiba Inu was wagging his tail, running around my feet. Liu Chuang was speechless. The job. The old matriarch arranged for Mr. Lin. Why is it taking care of this puppy? Even Shen Yuchu couldn't understand it either. My job turned out to be serving a four-legged majesty. This matter is truly too ridiculous. She gave the order, take them to Team 1 of the new Energy Research Department to start the job. This was something she had arranged beforehand. New energy research concerns the future of the group. You placing me there means you want to see what slip-up I'll make. As for me, whatever works. Carrying the little puppy and following behind Liu Tuang. Does it have a name yet? The old matriarch told you to name it. I glanced at Shen Yuchu, who had a long and displeased face. Then let's call it Kitty. The new energy research department is on the 38th floor. Inside the elevator, Liu Kuang said, Young Master Lin, the staff members inside our Shen Group's research department are mostly PhD. And the lowest is a master's degree from famous schools. You are the first person with only a bachelor's degree. While here, make sure to learn well from your seniors. It will be very useful for your future. This is a special arrangement from the boss for you. Of course, you don't need to be overly grateful or anything. This is just a reward for your coaxing the old matriarch and making her happy. I twitched the corner of my mouth. Actually, it's not really that necessary anyway. By the way, regarding the relationship between you and the boss doesn't want to make it public to avoid any future divorce causing a massive media storm. I gave him a look. Coincidentally, I was also worried about that exact matter. Liu Kuang was stunned. This man actually dares to look down on the CEO herself. My first day sitting in the office was very leisurely. No one assigned any task to me, making me feel even more at ease. Inside the office, I played with the little puppy, and once it fell fast asleep, I stood up, closed the door, and went straight up to the database on the 60th floor. Only by formulating the drug to treat Alzheimer's, so that after the old lady stabilizes, she can recall past events, can I truly understand what this bizarre marriage is all about. The books here include top-tier knowledge from every industry, and there are research materials that outsiders simply cannot access. I felt a bit excited. On the rooftop, Shen Yuchu received a text message from the old matriarch. Grandma's contact name had been changed to Grandma Must Not Suffer Shock. You rotten girl, you must go have lunch with my grandson-in-law at noon today. Remember, take an intimate photo of you two eating for me. Shen Yuchu let out a helpless sigh and pressed the buzzer to call Liu Tuang. Prepare 2 lunch sets and bring them up here. He sent a text message to me, but I still haven't replied. While on the 60th floor, I was completely absorbed in searching behind rows of bookshelves, only to find Shen staring intently at me. I was too absorbed in looking for books. When stepping back, my back bumped into someone. Sorry. I turned my head around only to see Shen looking at me with a complicated gaze. Lin Wu, you went through all that trouble to please great-grandmother, isn't it, just to get close to my aunt? My expression instantly turned cold. None of your business. Aunt hasn't gotten close to any man for so many years. Don't think that relying on this face of yours can charm her. She is not that shallow. Right now, didn't she just give you a job that doesn't really matter whether it exists or not, just to politely dismiss you? I curled my lips into a disdainful smile. Are you saying that back then you pursuing me for so long was because you were quite shallow? Shenxin's eyes turned to red. I know you hate me for proposing to Lin Fan, but I had no other choice either. A wealthy family alliance requires considering a lot of things. My mother already agreed to let me be with an ordinary person, but regarding your identity, no matter what, I could never marry an illegitimate son. Otherwise, how could I have a standing in the Shen family in the future? Moreover, I would become a laughingstock for all of Haicheng. I retracted my gaze. Thank goodness you didn't marry me. I must be blessed for 3 lifetimes to have escaped you. Just as I was about to leave, Shenxin blocked my path. I can arrange for you to join our team to work. By then, I'll find a capable person to guide you. I know you're competitive, and since you're so smart, you'll definitely learn very quickly. Hearing that, I interrupted her. What's the catch? You divorce and follow me. Shenxin does not tolerate having another woman touch her man. Just thinking about it already makes me feel crazy. I coldly replied, you're not worthy. Why do you love that ragged wife of yours so much? Do you believe it? I only need to give her a sum of money or find someone to threaten her a bit, and it'll make her leave you right away. What does she have that can compare to me? Hearing this, I gave Shenxin a cold, piercing glare. Originally, I didn't want to crush your self-esteem, but since you insist on asking no matter what, then let me tell you my wife is prettier than you and her body is also way better than yours. Leaving behind those blunt words, I turned around about to leave, only to see Shen Yuchu standing right at the corner. I went silent, and she went silent too. At this moment, Shenxin's eyes behind us were full of malice. She took out her phone and called Lin Fan. Don't you have a dinner appointment tomorrow afternoon with Dr. Wu? Let me tag along. Meanwhile, Shen Yuchu used the excuse of inviting me to lunch and brought me up to the rooftop. Stepping into Shen Yuchu's office, she pointed her finger toward the adjacent dining table. You eat first. I still felt a bit guilty. With this look of hers, she probably didn't hear that line about, my wife is prettier, right? While I was deep in thought, the sound of a phone camera shutter clicked. Shen Yuchu casually took the photo and sent it to Grandma, only then walking over. I knew her purpose for taking the photo, so I didn't ask much, just looking at the dining table to find something to talk about. Miss Shen's lunch is truly rich. The woman sat down opposite me, elegantly picking up her chopsticks. After all, the nutrition must be fully sufficient in order to maintain a great body. I froze completely, wishing I could bury my face in shame. My gaze swept across her fair white skin. Awkwardly packing up the rest of the meal, I said, Miss Shen, I just remembered Kitty hasn't been fed yet. I'll head out first. Thanks for the lunch. My mood was actually quite cheerful as I carried the lunchbox and left. After getting off work, Shen Yuchu called Grandma. Where are you, Grandma? At the hospital, where else? This afternoon, I suddenly felt chest pain again. I want to stay a few more days. You rotten girl, are you still coming to take care of me tonight? If you're not coming, that's fine. Just ignore me and let me stay in the hospital all alone by myself like this then. I'm coming right away. That's more like it. By the way, I already told my grandson-in-law and he's also coming to take care of me. You and my grandson-in-law come together, okay? Shen Yuchu rubbed her temples. She understood Grandma's temperament perfectly. She sent a text message to me. After work, I'll go over to pick you up to the hospital. I replied very quickly, no need, I already caught a cab and am on my way. Even though she wanted to keep her distance, seeing me avoiding suspicion like this, a wave of annoyance suddenly rose in Shen Yuchu's heart. I carried the little puppy into the inpatient ward. In the distance, Madame Lin had just finished her checkup and Lin Fan was holding her arm. Is that Lin Wu? Why is he at the hospital? Is he sick? Madame Lin asked hesitantly. Lin Fan's heart was full of anger. The old matriarch of the Shen family wouldn't let anyone visit, yet she actually kept Lin Wu by her side. His eyes rolled repeatedly. He probably came to visit the old matriarch of the Shen family. Lin Wu sure knows how to show filial piety. Nanny Ma furrowed her brows. Filial piety. My foot. Have we ever seen him come to visit you, madam? Madam, why are you still speaking up for him? That Lin Wu guy is truly an ungrateful brat. He has long forgotten about you. Lin Fan chimed in. I heard Miss Shen found him a job at the Shen group, so that's probably why he went to repay the old matriarch. Nanny Ma smiled disdainfully. Madam also has the merit of raising him up. The debt of upbringing is greater than the heavens, yet we've never seen him repay you anything, madam. All right, stop talking about it. Madam Lin stopped her. Lin Fan pretended to lament. Mom, you have a good heart, but not everyone understands. There are also people who receive a drop of kindness and return a whole river, like Dr. Wu, for instance. Mom, you only sponsored him with a little money. Yet, over the past few years, he has helped our family with so many things. 3 years ago, when the company almost went bankrupt, Dr. Wu directly handed over a new technical patent, helping us overcome the crisis. Nanny Ma nodded. Comparing them like that, Dr. Wu is 10,000 times better than Lin Wu. I also want to know what kind of person Dr. Wu actually is. Mom, tomorrow take me along with you, okay? Madam Lin smiled and stroked his head. All right, I'll take you. This exact scene just happened, to catch my eye while I was sitting on the sofa in the VIP room. My eyes followed Madam Lin. Her face clearly showed a pale and sickly look. Lin Fan was by her side, whispering something, and Madam Lin nodded helplessly. The two of them, mother and son, looked so close. Not until the car drove away did I reluctantly retract my gaze. As soon as I turned around, the old lady was already standing right behind me. Grandson-in-law, who was that person? They looked so familiar. My gaze softened, and just as I was about to answer, her eyes suddenly lit up. I remember now. She is your mother? The two of you really look alike. I paused for a moment. In truth, except for our facial shape, none of my facial features looked like Madame Lin's at all. Only our cold and aloof aura was identical. After all, after leaving the Lin family, I always unconsciously emulated her way of doing things, which was why I carried a bit of that demeanor. I looked at the old lady. Grandma, she is not my mother. The old lady asserted with absolute certainty again. She really is my grandson-in-law's mother. There's no mistake. Why wouldn't you acknowledge your own mother? I could only laugh through my tears. Luckily, Shen Yuchu appeared at the door carrying dinner. The dinner Shen Yuchu prepared was very sumptuous, and she even brought along some fruits for the three of us. The moment the old lady saw it, she immediately frowned. Grandson-in-law can't eat mangoes. He's allergic to mangoes. My heart suddenly skipped a beat and I looked at Grandma in astonishment. How do you know that, Grandma? I did have an allergy before, but it was completely cured 2 years ago. This was something I had never mentioned to her before. The old lady smiled and said, you told me before, saying that whenever you eat mangoes, your face breaks out in small red spots. My expression became serious. When was before? The old lady became dazed again. It seems to be before the wedding, you told me. A storm suddenly brewed in my heart. I was certain that before the wedding I didn't know her at all, let alone suffered from any amnesia. I hurriedly pressed for answers. Do you remember anything else? For example, how Miss Shen and I went to register our marriage? The old lady shook her head and said, can't remember. I felt Shen Yuchu's scrutinizing gaze on me, her face icy cold. I knew she thought I had improper motives again. It was truly a case of being framed with no way out. Even jumping into the Yellow River wouldn't wash me clean. I picked up the Shiba Inu. You and Grandma go ahead and eat first. I'll go walk the dog. I stood closely at the end of the hallway, quietly looking into the ward. Not long after Shen Yuchu followed me out, young Master Lin, is there something you want to say? I thought you'd want to hear me explain. Then does young Master Lin have anything to explain? I answered seriously, regarding the matter before marriage that Grandma mentioned, I really don't know what it's about. With private details like this, she couldn't have just made them up out of nowhere. I thought she would be skeptical, but she only gave a flat reply, oh. I was stunned. Miss Shen, you believe me. Shen Yuchu took a step closer, her voice chilly. Young Master Lin, I don't care what your purpose is. If you can keep Grandma happy, then I guarantee I can ensure your absolute safety. I got it. She didn't care about the truth as long as Grandma was happy. She could even turn a blind eye no matter what I was scheming. Her aura was overwhelming as she added, if you hurt Grandma, I will make sure you have no place left to live in this Haicheng. I let out a cold laugh. Hasn't Miss Shen already done exactly that? Shen Youchu frowned, just about to speak, when Professor Wen's voice suddenly carried over. Lin Wu. Professor Wen walked over, his voice hoarse. I was just about to call you to ask if you found a job yet. Has the misunderstanding between you and Miss Shen been resolved? How does that Miss Shen do business to be so outrageous? Why did she push you into a corner like this? Taking away your master's slot is one thing, but she even declared she'd make you disappear from Haicheng. Shen Yuchu stood by the side, looking completely puzzled. As for me, I gave her a half-smile glance. Professor, please rest assured it's already resolved. It was just a misunderstanding. Miss Shen is actually very kind-hearted. Not only did she arrange a job for me, but she also promised to ensure my absolute safety. Shen Yuchu's face darkened. Professor Wen let out a sigh of relief, then looked towards Shen Yuchu, unconsciously asking, is this your gangster wife? Shen Yuchu's face turned pitch black, while my smile grew even wider. Let's leave it at that then. Professor Wen sincerely said to Shen Yuchu, so, little girl, you look quite pretty, you should try to find a decent job to do. At this time in the dining room of the Lin family, Lin Zhenan was anxiously asking Madame Lin, who was losing her appetite, Siya, what's wrong? Are you feeling unwell? Lin Fan chimed in. Dad, today when we were at the hospital, we ran into Lin Wu. Maybe Mom is worried about him. Why worry about him? Lin Fan sighed. He definitely hates me. I'm afraid he might say something bad again to the old matriarch of the Shen family, causing Miss Shen to take her anger out on me. Lin Zhenan sneered. He already offended Miss Shen, so what does that have to do with you? Right after saying this, Lin Zhenan's phone rang. It was Shen Yuchu's assistant Liu Kuang. Assistant Liu, what brings you the free time to call me like this? Does Miss Shen have some instructions? On the other end of the line, the voice was extremely cold. My boss told me to ask young Master Lin Fan a question. When did he say, and since when did he declare that she would make Lin Wu disappear from Haicheng? Why doesn't my boss herself know about this? Lin Zhenan froze. Looking at Lin Fan in disbelief, Liu Tuang left one final sentence. The Lin family should know better and discipline your offspring. After speaking, he directly hung up. Lin Fan stood by the side, lowering his head deeply. At that time, I saw Lin Wu keeping tabs on Miss Shen, and I was afraid he would affect my marriage alliance with Sister Shen Xin. Dad, I didn't mean to. Dad, I didn't mean to. Lin Fan turned pale, defending himself. After all, Lin Wu is also your son? I was afraid you wouldn't have the heart to scold him. Foolish? Lin Zhenan switched the topic. How many times have I said it? In my heart, there is only one son, and that is you. What kind of entity is that Lin Wu? How could he, even compare to you? Madame Lin spoke up in disapproval. Zhenan Lin Wu is your son after all. Lin Zhenan immediately turned his head. Siya, back then, I was plotted against by Liu Li, and I have wronged you. Her child I will never acknowledge. In my heart, there is only you and our son. Liu Li, who was standing nearby in her capacity as a nanny, heard these words and instantly clenched her fists in hatred. She looked at Lin Zhenan with a bitter gaze. This was the man she loved deeply, her childhood sweetheart from next door. Yet in this man's eyes and heart, there was only Li Xia alone. Back then, after she got pregnant, she had brought the test result to find him, saying she could just be his mistress, but he was completely heartless, and drove her away, asserting he would never betray his wife. Liu Li really had no other choice, but to go to Li Xia instead, using death as a threat just to stay at the Lin family. For so many years, Lin Zhenan had never spoken much to her, and treated Lin Wu even more like thin air. It's a good thing she swapped the two children. Liu Li lowered her head, trying to suppress the smile in her eyes. Lin Zhenin will never know that the son he always claims is his and Li Xia's the son he has doted. And for all these years, Lin Fan is actually her own son. As for Lin Wu, he deserves to be ignored and oppressed. Madame Lin still stubbornly shook her head. Zhenin, wrong is wrong. Lin Fan is in the wrong. Our family should go apologize to Lin Wu. Lin Zhenin frowned. Apologize? My son has to go apologize to Liu Li's son. Are you kidding me? Liu Li also hurriedly said, no need, no need. Forget it, no need. Liu Li eagerly chimed in. Disciplining him is only natural. Madame Lin looked at them and let out a soft sigh. But she didn't argue further. When Lin Fan escorted her back to her room, Madame Lin spoke up again. Tomorrow, if there's time, I'll take you to meet Lin Wu to apologize. Lin Fan's face stiffened. Didn't you want to take Shun Xin to meet Dr. Wu? Let's just go together tomorrow. Lin Fan's eyes immediately lit up. He hugged her arm. Yes, Mom. Only Mom loves me the most. Waiting until he left, Madame Lin looked toward her longtime maid. Nanny Ma, over the past few years, my health hasn't been good, so I haven't disciplined Lin Fan properly. I've truly failed in my duty. Madam, you're overthinking it. Young Master Lin Fan is very filial and thoughtful. It's just a small mistake, he can fix it later. Madame Lin smiled bitterly. Lin Wu, on the other hand, has never lied. She suddenly coughed violently. With Nanny Ma supporting her, she walked toward his bed. That secret still weighed heavily on her, making it hard to breathe. The next day, from the moment I woke up in the morning, I was a bit nervous. It has been 10 years since I last saw Madame Lin. I wonder if she will be happy or angry when she sees me. At noon, I went home to change clothes. The old lady told Shen Yuchu to take her home. Just as the two walked out of the hospital ward door and went downstairs, they saw Liu Kuang coming over. Shen Yuchu gave him a nod. Liu Chuang handed a piece of paper to me. Young Master Lin, you can take a look at this. Listed on it was a directory of professors specializing in new energy from prestigious domestic universities. I looked at Liu Kuang in confusion. These are all professors even more famous than Professor Wen. You can choose one to continue your master's degree. This is my boss's compensation for your cancelled master's qualification. Young Master Lin, meeting our boss is truly a blessing in disguise for you. I curled my lip. No need. Then do you want to be a graduate student under Dr. Wu? Liu Chuang frowned. This matter is a bit difficult to handle. Dr. Wu is currently extremely sought after. That genius professor only accepts genius students. Someone like you might not even catch his eye. It's best you don't aim too high. At most, after you finish your master's degree, go find Dr. Wu to pursue a PhD later. I looked at him like he was an idiot, directly saying to Shen Yuchu, Miss Shen, no need to see me off. I can just catch a cab back myself. Shen Yuchu stared intently in the direction I left, suddenly saying to Liu Chuang, then help him contact Dr. Wu. Huh. Liu Chuang was dumbfounded. In front of a private restaurant, Madame Lin Fan and Shen Xin had arrived first. Shen Xin pushed open the door of the private room, and what caught her eyes was the tall back of a man leisurely pouring tea. Dr. Wu, hello? I am Shen Xin from the Shen Group. Nice to meet you. I turned my head around, a mocking smile appearing on my face. Lin Wu, why are you in this corner? Shouldn't I be the one asking you that? I casually replied. Shen Xin's face tightened. Don't worry, I didn't come here looking for you this time. Where is Dr. Wu? Where is he? I said nothing. Madame Lin led Lin Fan inside. The moment she saw me, Madame Lin's eyes welled with tears. Are you Lin Wu? In my heart, I felt a bit moved. Madam, have you been doing well lately? I'm doing well, Lin Wu. What about you? I heard from your dad that you got married. Madame Lin held my hand tightly, not letting go. She couldn't help but sigh with deep emotion. A malicious gleam flashed in Lin Fan's eyes. Lin Wu, I should have invited you to eat with us for fun, but since you're working as a waiter here, it's probably not very convenient, right? Later, we'll give you some extra cash to help support your life. Shut your mouth, Madame Lin scolded. Madame Lin scolded him, then hurriedly looked at me, Lin Wu. Today, we have an appointment with Dr. Wu. You're also in the new energy field, right? Let's get to know each other a bit. It will be helpful for your future later on. Lin Fan was afraid I would steal his connections. So he grabbed a cup of scalding hot tea, walked over to my side, and planned to pull a stunt. Lin Wu, yesterday, Mom told me I had to apologize to you. I'll use tea instead of wine to propose a toast to you. After saying that, he let his fingers loosen. The scalding hot tea was about to completely spill all over me. I leaned over to dodge it, and the teacup bounced right back onto Lin Fan, burning him so badly that he screamed miserably. Lin Wu, I know you hate me, but how could you do something like this? He shrieked in rage. I lowered my eyes and feigned innocence. My bad, I didn't see. Shen Xin was absolutely furious. Lin Wu, is that how you act as a waiter? Is that how you do it? Look, the guest got injured. Hurry up and call your manager over here. I'm going to file a complaint against you. Madame Lin stood up to protect me. Forget it, we're all family. Mom's sister Shen Xin is very angry. Just let Lin Wu go outside first to avoid causing another conflict. Madam Lin looked at me with an apologetic gaze. Lin Wu, when you have some free time, remember to come home and visit me. Next time there's an opportunity, I'll take you to meet Dr. Wu. Lin Fan hurriedly changed the subject. Mom, why hasn't Dr. Wu arrived yet? I gave a half smile and said, he's already here. The three people in the room looked toward me simultaneously. Madam Lin was just about to ask for more details when she suddenly coughed violently and fainted right on the dining table. Madam, I instinctively tried to go support her, but I was forcefully pushed away by Lin Fan. Get lost. What did you do to my mom, you bastard? Mom, wake up. The ambulance quickly arrived. I wanted to get on the vehicle to follow along, but Shenshin grabbed me tightly. You illegitimate son, stay away from Madam Lin. If you anger her to death, I swear I won't let you off. I caught a taxi to follow closely behind. Arriving at the hospital, the hallway was packed with people and there were no vacant beds left. Shen Yuchu was on the upper floor, and upon witnessing this scene, she instructed Liu Kuang to help young Master Lin arrange a ward. The head nurse received the call and immediately shouted out loud, "A VIP room just became vacant." Lin Fan was overjoyed. Sister Shen Xin, you truly have great connections. Shensin silently took the credit. The group of people moved into the ward, and I followed behind step by step, but I was blocked right at the door by Lin Fan, Lin Wu. My mom still needs peace to rest. Don't you dare come in and disturb her. With a bang, the door slammed shut. I stood there dazed, my heart burning with anxiety, yet I had no right to go inside. I could only sit down on the long bench. Not long after, hurried footsteps echoed, and Lin Jenin rushed into the ward with a face full of worry. After confirming that Madam Lin was all right, only then did he pull Lin Fan outside. Lin Jenin frowned and asked, "What is this about?" She was perfectly fine, so why did she suddenly faint? Lin Fan looked toward me as I sat nearby. It's Lin Wu. He kept insisting on meeting Dr. Wu no matter what, and then argued a bit with Sister Shen Xin, which made Mom so angry that her illness flared up. Lin Jenin glared at me. "You bastard!" Without saying another word, he swung his arm with full force, slapping me straight across the face. I didn't dodge, my mind completely filled with the pale, sickly face of Madam Lin. Maybe it was just as Lin Fan said. My very existence was inherently her misfortune. The pain I anticipated didn't hit me. I opened my eyes only to see a cold figure shielding me from the front. Shen Yuchu stood there as if holding up the sky to protect me. Lin Jenin was startled. "Miss Shen, you doing this is..." "Mr. Lin, it's not my place to interfere with how you discipline your son, but Grandma really likes him right now. If she sees injuries on young Master Lin's face, she will be very sad," Shen Yuchu said in a deep voice. Lin Jenin immediately replied, "It was my lack of consideration." From inside the ward, the sound of Madam Lin coughing carried out. Lin Jenin and Lin Fan hurriedly rushed inside. I stood at the door hesitating for a long time, hearing her weak voice carrying over, "I'm fine. Don't worry too much. It's been a long time since I've slept this soundly." Fainting just now actually made me feel like I had a very comfortable sleep. Only then did my mind ease up a bit. Shen Yuchu asked, "Not going in, not for now. Otherwise, it'll just be another shouting match disturbing Madam Lin's rest." I replied in a low voice. Just as I turned around, Grandma had already been escorted over by the butler. Hearing that my grandson-in-law's mother was hospitalized, she came to visit. I held her arm. "Grandma, Madame Lin is not my mother. Could you have recognized the wrong person?" Grandma took out her phone, opened a photo of them together, and handed it to me. "Grandson-in-law, this is the photo you sent me before. You said this was you and your mother. Could it be that the person in the ward is not the person in the photo?" I was instantly stunned. In the photo, Madam Lin and I were sitting by the beach, smiling radiantly together, looking exactly like a biological mother and son. But ever since I left the Lin family, I had never met her even once. How could there be a photo of us together? I zoomed in on the photo and discovered a clue. This was an extremely clumsily photoshopped picture. "When did I send this photo to you, Grandma?" Grandma shook her head. "I can't remember anymore." "Then how did I send it to you? Via email or text message?" She continued to shake her head. "Can't recall it either." I felt a bit helpless, but Grandma's attitude was very resolute. "Grandson-in-law, that is definitely your mother. You must not abandon your own mother." After seeing Grandma off, Shen Yuchu stood in the hallway. Liu Chuang quickly came to report, "Boss, I've investigated it. Young Master Lin went to that restaurant to work a part-time job and then happened to run into the Lin family." Shen Yuchu's voice was cold. "Is the salary paid by the Shen group to him that low? Otherwise, why would he run outside to do a part-time job?" "It's not low, it was arranged by the old matriarch. Maybe the manager gave him tasks that were too difficult, making him worry about getting fired." Yet, Shen Yuchu felt the matter wasn't that simple. What did the Lin family go to that restaurant for? They had an appointment to meet Dr. Wu. Miss Shen Xin also went there because of this matter. And where is Dr. Wu? In the end, he never showed up. Shen Yuchu's deep eyes flashed with a gleam of light. A bold thought came to her mind. Inside the ward, After resting, Madame Lin's spirit was much better. Lin Fan tells Shen to go home first. Lin Fan's face was full of awkwardness. Shen is staying here mainly to wait for Dr. Wu. Madame Lin understood. She picked up her phone. Since we missed the appointment today, I should explain it clearly to Dr. Wu. Waiting until Madame Lin rescheduled for another time, only then did Lin Fan see Shen out. Out in the hallway, Lin Fan said, Sister Shen, rest assured. The matter with Dr. Wu will definitely not be a problem. Right now in the Shen Group's R&D department, there are a few stubborn guys who refuse to submit to me. As long as we can invite Dr. Wu to join, then I can be considered to have achieved a great merit and get a solid foothold. Therefore, Dr. Wu is very important to me. You must definitely persuade him. The two of them walked into the elevator. I stepped out from the blind spot, pushed open the door, and walked into the ward. Lin Zhenen's face instantly darkened. What did you bring your face here for again? Get out. Is that Lin Wu? Hurry up and let him in. Madame Lin's gentle voice echoed. Lin Zhenen warned me, don't make Madame angry again. I already told you. It wasn't because of Lin Wu today. It's just that I myself haven't been able to sleep these past few days. Madame Lin gently scolded him, then held my hand. Son, you were frightened today, right? The palm of her hand was very warm. I smiled and replied, I'm fine. I'll come back to visit you often in the future. Also, about your wife, Lin Fan said she is a gangster. But I don't believe it. Lin Wu has had very good judgment since he was a child, and he also has his own ideas. The person you chose must definitely have some excellent traits. Bring her here someday for me to see, okay? The bridge of my nose felt a bit sore. Yes, ma'am. She started to cough violently again. I took out a plastic bottle. This is a cough medicine I asked someone to help buy. Whichever night you can't sleep, please take one pill. Madame Lin nodded in agreement. As I left the ward, I heard Lin Zhenen inside say disdainfully, why are you so easily bribed by a bottle of medicine? Prescribed from who knows what small clinic bribed just like that? He straight up threw the medicine bottle into the trash can. In the middle of the night, Madame Lin was awakened by her coughing fit again. Painful to the point that she even thought of ending her life as if possessed, she picked the medicine bottle up from the trash can and tried taking one pill. A refreshing and cool feeling instantly enveloped her itchy throat and she dazed off into a deep sleep. At 10 o'clock the next morning, Madame Lin was woken up by Lin Zhenen. She had actually slept straight through until morning. Madam, the sleeping pill the doctor gave yesterday is really effective. You've slept for a full 10 hours already. Nanny Ma was so excited that her eyes turned red. What sleeping pill? Madame Lin was stunned. Nanny. Ma looked toward Lin Fan. Miss Shen found it for you. She specially found an extra strength sleeping pill to mix into the medicine you took. Who knew it would actually work? Madame Lin paused for a moment. She felt her throat was noticeably clearer. Her gaze rested on the unlabeled plastic bottle placed at the head of the bed. Lin Zhenen proudly praised his future daughter-in-law. This daughter-in-law is truly very good. I heard that recently the inpatient department has been completely full. It was Shen who pulled a lot of strings to arrange this ward. This time it's mostly thanks to her. Lin Fan struck while the iron was hot. Mom, Sister Shen is so filial to you, you should also lend her a hand. Her family wants Sister Shen to manage the R&D department, but that bunch of researchers won't submit to her. If we can invite Dr. Wu to act as an external technical consultant, then Sister Shen can secure her footing. Madame Lin hesitated for a moment before saying, then let me ask Dr. Wu and see. But if he doesn't agree... Lin Fan was full of confidence. From his view, as long as Madame Lin spoke up, Dr. Wu had never refused before. Madame Lin took out her phone, found Dr. Wu's profile picture, pondered her words for a moment, and sent a message, Little Wu. Are you free? Mom wanted to ask you for a favor. When I received the message, I had just finished taking Grandma for a stroll downstairs and came back. I fell into deep thought. What could Madame Lin be looking for me for? Could it be that there was a problem with yesterday's medicine? That drug is still in the clinical trial stage, but seeing her illness was so severe. That was why I brought it out to use in advance. I was a bit worried, so I asked the caregiver to take Grandma back to her room, then hurriedly ran over toward Madame Lin's side. Before long, I arrived at the ward and saw that Shen and Liu Li were both there. The sound of cheerful talking and laughing suddenly stiffened the moment I walked in. I honestly felt like a third wheel. Seeing that Madame Lin was fine, I intended to lower my head and quietly leave, but Liu Li spoke up. Well, if it isn't young Master Lin, what's the matter? Now that you've climbed up high with the old matriarch of the Shen family, I guess folks like us are no longer worthy of catching your eye, huh? I turned around to leave, but she grabbed me tightly. I heard you're doing your absolute best to bootlick the old matriarch of the Shen family right now, carrying her bedpan and throwing her trash all night. Do you really think they'll treat you like a real grandson? Stop daydreaming in broad daylight. You're nothing more than a toy for their entertainment. Lin Fan hurriedly stepped in to stop her. Mom, don't say that. The old matriarch of the Shen family really values Lin Wu. Liu Li raised her voice and snapped. You call that valuing him? Look at how Miss Shenxin treats you. Now, that is what you call valuing someone. She bootlicked as she looked toward Shenxin. I heard that yesterday it was basically impossible to get a ward. Even prestigious families had to wait in a long line. It was all thanks to Miss Shenxin's help that we could get Madam into this VIP room. Shenxin looked at me and smiled modestly. My aunt probably didn't know about this. Otherwise, she would have lent a hand too. I only contributed a tiny bit of effort. Even if Miss Shen knew, I wouldn't care to pay you any attention. Lo Li mocked me again. No matter how much you bootlick them, they only see you like a stray cat or dog to play with. I clenched my fist tightly, not wanting to cause a scene in the ward. Outside the door, Shen Yuchu, who had just arrived, heard every single word. Her expression was ice cold. Liu Kuang immediately understood his boss's intent. He directly cleared his throat and stepped inside. Madam Lin, I'm here on behalf of CEO Shen to visit you. Are you staying comfortably in this ward? The room fell dead silent. Everyone looked toward Shenxin at the same time. She had a look of utter bewilderment while Liu Li was stunned. Then she smiled and said, Miss Shenxin, so it turns out you asked Miss Shen to arrange this ward. Shenxin's face stiffened. Liu Tuang smiled again and said, This was arranged because Mr. Lin asked my boss. Miss Shenxin, did you also look for my boss? Shenxin was so embarrassed that she wished she could find a hole to crawl into. At that time, I made a lot of phone calls and pulled a few strings. It was just a misunderstanding on my part. Lin Fan clenched his fists, feeling extremely humiliated. Madam Lin broke the awkward atmosphere. Thank you very much, Miss Shen. It's very good here. Once my health improves a bit, I will go visit the old matriarch. Liu Kuang said, as long as you're comfortable, Mr. Lin won't worry and our old matriarch will be pleased as well. These words were clearly elevating my status. The hearts of several people in the room tightened. Madame Lin, however, was genuinely happy. I glanced at Liu Li, my eyes full of mockery. Liu Li snapped furiously, You brat, what are you so smug about? All of you shut up. Lin Zhenin scolded in anger. Madam is sick and needs rest. What kind of nonsense are you spouting here? Get the hell back home. Liu Li gave me a resentful glare, covered her face, and ran off. I looked toward Madam Lin's hospital bed. How did you sleep last night, Madam? Lin instinctively gripped the small medicine bottle tightly under the blanket. I slept very well. It's been a long time since I've slept this soundly. Then that's good. I'll take my leave first. Liu Chuang and I just walked out to the door where Shen Yuchu was leaning against the hallway wall looking at her phone. The light cast over her cold and delicate face. Seeing me come out, she spoke up. Grandma wasn't at ease, so she insisted that I come check in person. Although her voice was somewhat distant, my heart felt warm. Thank you. The ward door opened, and Shenxin and Lin Fan stepped outside. Seeing me and Shen Yuchu standing next to each other, Lin Fan looked as if he was facing a great enemy. Shenxin instinctively questioned, Auntie, why are you here? Shen Yuchu's eyes flashed with a trace of displeasure. My whereabouts don't seem to require a report to you. The powerful pressure made Shenxin's palms sweat. He glared at me maliciously. Young Master Lin, you keep staying at the hospital to take care of Grandma. Like this? Doesn't your wife mind? I glanced at Shen Yuchu with a bit of curiosity, gave a half smile and said, She probably doesn't mind. Shenxin's expression shifted unpredictably. Shen Yuchu suddenly spoke up. Let's head back to the ward. Grandma is waiting for you. I smiled. Let's go then. We turned around and left, leaving Shenxin behind with a venomous glare. When she went back to Madame Lin's ward to tidy up the blankets, she cried out in horror. Why is there a medicine bottle like this on the bed? Lin Zhenin frowned. Isn't this that shady medicine Lin Wu brought? Yes, why did you fish it back? Last night I took a pill and it felt like it actually worked, Madame Lin explained. How is that possible? It was clearly the sedative taking effect. Lin Zhenin snatched the medicine bottle. Who knows where he bought the medicine he brought? What if taking it ruins your health? Don't take it anymore. Let's try not taking that tonight to see which medicine actually works. Late at night, Madame Lin started coughing violently again without stopping. Nanny Ma brought over the sedative that had been praised as a miracle drug but found it didn't have any effect. Madame Lin coughed until her face turned bright red. After that, Nanny Ma rushed outside to fetch my medicine bottle. Just as she was about to administer the drug, Lin Fan held her hand back. Mom, the coughing got worse like this. Could it be because of that medicine? It's best not to take this medicine of unknown origin. Lin Zhenin picked it up. That bastard Lin Wu Xia, you treat him so well, yet he dares to use fake medicine to harm you. Madame Lin coughed so hard she couldn't speak, only able to stare intently at Nanny Ma. Nanny Ma, who was the most loyal, endured the pressure and stuffed the pill into Madam's mouth. The coughing fit stopped instantly. Madam Lin let out a sigh of relief. Lin Wu's medicine definitely worked. The group walked out to the outer room, Lin Fan's face turning pale. Dad Lin Wu actually managed to buy targeted medicine. What capability does he even have? He must have asked Miss Shen to help buy it. Lin Jianan furrowed his brows. It seems the old matriarch of the Shen family really values him. Inside the VIP ward, Shen Yuchu was sitting and chatting with Grandma. What did you eat for lunch today? The old lady thought for a long time. White porridge doesn't seem right. Was it noodles? Am I right, silly girl? Shen Yuchu smiled and nodded. But her heart felt heavy. They ate rice for lunch, yet Grandma forgot again. Her memory seemed to be deteriorating more and more seriously. I suddenly chimed in. Grandma, what color were the eldest young lady's earrings yesterday? The old lady immediately replied, purple. This silly girl is the most fashionable. She even wore diamond stud earrings. What about the day before yesterday? The day before yesterday was green. Those green earrings were even bought for her by me. I smiled and looked at Shen Yuchu, my words full of meaning. The things Grandma cares about, she still remembers very clearly. Shen Yuchu looked at me. I was lounging on the sofa, lazily playing with my phone, looking completely at ease. Those words just now were meant to comfort her. Her anxious heart seemed to gradually soothe. The old lady suddenly laughed. Grandson-in-law, did I get it all right? I nodded. Yes, you did. Silly girl, see that? Your husband actually remembers exactly what you wear every single day. This boy truly has you in his heart. I instantly froze. In place. I just happened to have a photographic memory. I really didn't intentionally memorize it. Just as I was about to explain, I saw Shen Yuchu just staring intently at her computer, completely ignoring me. What I didn't notice was that the tips of her ears had already turned slightly red. I continued to research the data on my phone. The final stage of the Alzheimer's research still hasn't made any progress. I stood up to go walk around a bit. Just as I went downstairs to walk the dog, someone patted my shoulder. I turned my head around to look. It was Liu Li's gambling-addicted younger brother, my uncle Liu Yaoguang. My good nephew, long time no see. I took a step back. What are you doing here? I heard you managed to latch onto the big tree that is the Shen family uncle is a bit tight on cash lately. Could you lend me some money? I sneered. I don't have any money. You served that old lady so thoroughly, yet she didn't hand you a single dime. I narrowed my eyes. Not for now, but maybe she'll give some later. Liu Yaoguang smiled despicably. Then you must definitely lend it to me later. If you do, maybe I can tell you a secret. He chuckled and walked away. I let out a cold snort. Just then my phone rang. I picked it up to look and it was actually Madam Lin calling. At this moment in the other ward, Lin Fan saw that Dr. Wu hadn't replied to the text message for ages and Shen Xin was also pressuring him relentlessly. So while Madam Lin was fast asleep, he secretly stole her phone. He found the name Little Wu in the contacts and called directly. The call connected and I lowered my voice. Hello, Madam Lin. Is there something wrong? Lin Fan instantly froze. Lin Wu. His eyes widened in absolute disbelief. This voice, there was no way he could mistake it. My heart sank, and my voice grew even colder. Lin Fan, what are you doing holding her phone? Is this your phone number? He was a bit taken aback. What kind of nonsense are you barking? Only then did Lin Fan suddenly realize Lin Wu's name also had the character Wu in it. Madam Lin occasionally still called him Little Wu. He let out a sigh of relief. Lin Fan tried to stay calm to cover up the secret. He raised his voice. I just want to warn you, even if you rely on the old matriarch to latch onto Miss Shen at most, you're just a temporary plaything. Miss Shen is already married. But I'm different. In the future, I will marry Shen Xin and become the legitimate son-in-law of the Shen family. Then congratulations to you. In wealthy families, you can't just rely on talking about feelings. I have Dr. Wu as my trump card in my hand, so I will forever stand in an invincible position. He hung up. The phone. The corner of my mouth twitched. Since when did I become Lin Fan's trump card right after that? The WeChat account? Dr. Wu on Madam Lin's phone received a message. It was still Lin Fan. I turned on the voice changer before picking up. Lin Fan's tone was extremely respectful. Dr. Wu, hello. I'm very sorry to disturb you. I am Lin Fan, the son of Li Xia. The Shen Group wants to invite you to join their research team. My mother also shares this intention. I wonder if you're interested, I coldly interrupted him. I am only responsible for the company under Madam Lin's name. After saying that, I straight up hung up. Time passed until Monday and I went back to the Shen Group to work. Just as I walked out of the hospital and was about to hail a taxi, a Bentley stopped right next to me. Shen Youchu looked straight ahead and said, "Get in." Grandma told me to drive you to work. Shen Youchu glanced at me. Was she taking a photo to report to Grandma? I got into the back seat. She held up her phone to take a selfie of the two of us. I even held up a peace sign to pose smiling radiantly. Shen Yuchu was suddenly dazed. Arriving at the company, I went straight to the data archive on the 60th floor. At this moment, the R&D department was announcing a personnel deployment. Shen Xin was promoted to vice president because she had successfully invited Dr. Wu. In the penthouse office, Liu Chuang reported on my whereabouts. His main purpose for joining the Shen group is to look up files. He has been in the library the entire morning and hasn't eaten lunch yet. Shen Yuchu's eyes flashed, and she went downstairs alone to find me. In front of the brain neurology bookshelf, I was climbing a ladder to fetch a document from the top shelf. After getting the book, my heart was full of joy. I slipped and tumbled straight down, happening to land right on top of Shen Yuchu. Seeing clearly that it was her, I hurriedly stood up. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that just now. Shen Yuchu composed herself for a moment. She stood up, her ears flushing bright red, but she still pretended not to care. The atmosphere became a bit awkward, so I randomly found an excuse and slipped away. Before leaving, I hid that important book in a hidden corner. In the afternoon, I went back to the library, but found that the book had completely vanished. My head was full of question marks. Right after that, it clicked in this entire company. There was only one person who could just take books as they pleased. In the penthouse, Shen Youchu was flipping through that deep neurology document, her brows tightly knit. Liu Chuang stood beside her murmuring, "Boss, that guy Lin Wu really doesn't know his place. He basically didn't come here to work." "That's right. He didn't come here to work in the first place," Shen Yuchu casually replied. Liu Chuang asked, "Does this book need to be returned?" Shen Yuchu's fingertips gently tapped on the book, thinking. Of my eyes full of anticipation today, her chest suddenly felt a strange flutter. "No need for now." At off-work hours, the Bentley stopped in the underground parking lot. Liu Chuang asked, "Boss, are we leaving?" "No rush." Shen Youchu held the thick document in her hands until I got into the car. Only then did she raise her eyes and say, "Let's go." Liu Chuang was a bit dazed. It seemed the boss didn't even make an appointment with the young Master Lin beforehand. After work, we went back to the hospital. Just as we reached the VIP ward area, we could already hear Liu Li's highly flattering voice. "Old matriarch, I specially came to visit you. Then again, we really share a deep twist of fate." The old matriarch of the Shen family blocked the doorway, staring intently at her. "Get the hell out. If you still don't leave, I'll have someone beat you." Liu Li smiled apologetically. "I am Lin Wu's mother." "Old matriarch, don't you like him the most? For his sake, you shouldn't treat me like this, right?" "You are not his mother," the old matriarch of the Shen family stated with absolute certainty. "Madame Lin is his mother." Liu Li was instantly so scared that she broke into a cold sweat. She instinctively questioned back, "How do you know?" She was scared out of her wits. The secret about swapping the babies was only known by her and her younger brother, Liu Yaoguang. On what basis was the old matriarch of the Shen family so sure? Seeing me and Shen Yuchu walking over, Liu Li felt guilty and wiped the look off her face. She walked up to me and handed over a thermal lunchbox. "Lin Wu mom came to bring you some chicken soup. Taking care of the old matriarch must be exhausting for you. Eat more to nourish yourself." I only felt it was ironic, and casually asked, "What do you want? Is it that remaining 2% of the shares? The old matriarch values you so much. If you speak up, she will definitely agree. Help your older brother out a bit. Otherwise, he won't be able to hold his head up in front of Shen. My eyes were full of mockery as I said no. Liu Li's face stiffened. She straight up sat down on the floor and began to cry and complain. "How nice I carried you for 9 months and went through hardships to give birth to you, and the end result is that once you latch onto a big tree, you turn your back on me, right? Everyone come look at this. This son of mine is truly ungrateful. He looks down on his mother's humble background and only wants to go to be someone else's grandson." The medical staff around began to point fingers. I silently observed her, the feeling of helplessness in my heart growing even stronger. "Keep throwing a tantrum. If you disturb other people's rest, security will escort you out." After saying that, I walked straight past her. Liu Li flew into a rage. "You ungrateful wretch." She jumped right up and fiercely threw the hot chicken soup toward me. "Be careful." A pair of cold hands pulled me into an embrace. Shen Yuchu shielded my back, taking the hit from the hot soup for me. My pupils contracted as I hurriedly asked, "How are you?" "I'm fine." She frowned slightly, looking toward Liu Li, who was fleeing in terror. Stepping into the ward, the old lady anxiously checked her clothes. "Hurry up and take it off so Grandma can see how bad the burn is." "Is it blistering? Does it hurt?" "Grandson-in-law, hurry up and apply the medicine for her." The old lady shoved the medicine into my hand and chased everyone else out. "Grandson-in-law, I'm leaving her to you." Only the two of us were left. Shen Yuchu said softly, "It's just Grandma making a scene. Let me call a nurse in to do it." "Let me." I walked behind her, the twilight casting over her back. With ointment on my fingertips, I gently rubbed it evenly. She didn't make a sound from beginning to end. Until I finished applying the medicine, she adjusted her hair. "Mr. Lin, thank you. Don't mention it. Actually, you didn't need to take the hit for me. If you get injured, Grandma will be very sad. Shen Yuchu stared intently at me. Have you forgotten? Right now, you are my husband. My heart suddenly skipped a beat. I constantly felt that the current Shen Yuchu seemed a bit different. That I'm going out for a bit. To do what? To get revenge. I originally intended to look for Liu Li, but at the stairwell, I caught a glimpse of Lin Fan and his uncle Liu Yaoguang. Liu Yaoguang rubbed his hands. All right, nephew, I'm a bit tight on cash lately. Lin Fan suppressed his anger. Didn't I give you all of this month's allowance already? Either way, I can't survive anymore anyway. If you don't give me money, I will reveal the truth. He will definitely shell out big bucks to keep my mouth shut. I pushed open the door and stepped in, my voice cold. What truth? Lin Fan was startled. Lin Wu, what do you think you're doing? You dare eavesdrop on our conversation. I looked straight at Liu Yaoguang and continued to ask, what truth? I can give you money. How much can you give? Liu Yaoguang's eyes lit up. Lin Fan panicked. The money you want, I'll find a way to give it to you later. Now beat it before leaving. Liu Yaoguang whispered to me, my nephew, this secret of mine is always valuable to you. As long as you can offer a reasonable price, I will definitely sell it to you. I sent a text message to Ji Yue to investigate Liu Yaoguang's situation. Turning back, I saw Lin Fan was about to leave. I casually said, if you don't want others to know, don't do it in the first place. Regarding your business with Liu Yaoguang, do you think I can't track down your dirty laundry? Lin Fan's entire body stiffened. What on earth are you talking about? I don't understand. What dirt does he have on you that makes you hand over money every single month? What absolute nonsense are you spouting? I advise you, if you have the energy, you should worry about finding a way to save yourself. Don't waste time on me. Where is Liu Li? She's your mother. Why are you asking me instead? Lin Fan quickly ran away. I called Liu Li. I want you to come back and apologize to Miss Shen immediately. No, Miss Shen won't forgive me anyway. You go and apologize on my behalf. You are my son, so the son pays the mother's debt. That's how it's always been. Since that's the case, don't blame me for calling the police. Why are you calling the police? I am your mother. The person I wanted to hit was you. A mother disciplining her child is only natural. I straight up hung up. Liu Li had injured Shen Yuchu, so in the end, she was detained for 48 hours for investigation. Returning to the ward, Shen Yuchu was having a meeting in the company car downstairs. I sat beside the bed. I'm sorry. The old lady waved her hand. Grandson-in-law, we're all family. Why say such things? Besides, seeing that silly girl defend you like that. Grandma couldn't be happier. The words all family made the bridge of my nose feel a bit sore. At this moment, Lin Fan scraped together a full 170 million and transferred it to Liu Yaoguang, along with a message, keep your mouth shut tight. Otherwise, neither of us will have a good ending. He was filled with anxiety, only wanting to quickly marry Shen Xin. As long as he became the son-in-law of the Shen family, even if his identity was exposed, he would still have a way out. At 9 o'clock in the evening, Shen Xin suddenly came to find Lin Fan. Lin Fan was overjoyed. Sister Shen Xin, why did you come here? Shen Xin asked in a serious tone. Regarding Dr. Wu, you've definitely finalized the negotiation with him, right? Lin Fan's gaze dodged. Of course. Then arrange for me to meet Dr. Wu once. Lin Fan panicked. Dr. Wu went abroad. As soon as he comes back, I'll arrange it immediately. As soon as he returns, I'll arrange it immediately. Sister Shen Xin, do you have a problem that needs solving? Let me contact him to help you. Shen Xin looked at him suspiciously. I already sent the problem to your email. Forward it to Dr. Wu and ask him to help solve it. Alright, let me forward it to him right away. Lin Fan had already memorized Madame Lin's email password. He discovered that Dr. Wu always responded to Madame Lin's side in a heartbeat, and never asked too many questions. That was why he dared to lie. He operated his phone, immediately forwarding the email. Dr. Wu usually replies to my messages instantly. Sister Shen Xin, please wait a moment. Inside the VIP ward, my phone buzzed. I glanced over. It was an email sent from Madame Lin's account. Little Wu, can you help solve this problem? In the attachment was indeed a technical difficulty of the Shen group. I let out a sneer. Lin Fan had some nerve actually daring to use Madame Lin's name to ask for my help. I coldly replied, I am only responsible for the Lin family. The problems of the Shen group do not fall under my jurisdiction. The notification tone on Lin Fan's side rang out. He excitedly opened the email, but the moment he clearly saw the content, the smile on his face instantly stiffened. Shen Xin frowned and asked, what's wrong? Lin Fan suppressed his nervousness, giving a forced smile. Dr. Wu said, this problem will take a few days to resolve. Shen Xin let out a sigh of relief. That's normal. This problem is indeed a bit difficult. I already made a bet with Lin Wu's team. They must have a proposal before Friday. Is there no problem on your end? No problem. But Lin Fan's eyes were trembling. Shenxin returned to the Shen family home. Her father, Shen Yuanjie, rarely cracked a smile for her. As expected of my good daughter, to think you even managed to invite Dr. Wu. You can definitely secure your footing in the R&D department very quickly now. Her mother, Liu Michen, also wept tears of joy. Shenxin clenched her fists. Since she had chosen this path of political marriage, she would absolutely not regret it. As for Lin Fan, he could only belong to her. On the other side, I sneezed and then continued to bury my head in work. An ice water glass landed. The space in front of me suddenly darkened as Shen Yuchu, who had just grabbed a glass of water, placed it on the small tea table. I was a bit dazed. Thanks. Don't mention it, just did it in passing. Shen Yuchu naturally sat back in her original spot. The old lady looked at us grinning from ear to ear. She had already started flipping through a dictionary to pick out names for the great-grandchild. The next day at the R&D department, Shenxin blocked my way in the lounge area. Tonight there is an industry networking event about new energy. Those participating are all big shots in the industry. I heard Dr. Wu might also make an appearance. I didn't stop my steps, and the R&D department of the Shen Group has an invitation. I can take you along to broaden your horizons and network with more people. No need, thanks. I didn't even bother turning my head, walking straight into the office. Team leader Lin Anqiao let out a sneer. You want to use a single invitation to buy him over Lin Wu isn't that short-sighted. Shenxin's face turned cold. You should understand clearly, I am the one who can bring better resources to him. That kind of party, do you think just anyone can enter that level as they please? At least I can lead him inside. At off-work hours, Lin Anqiao called me back. There's an event tonight. Come with me. I didn't think much of it. Sent a text message to Shen Yuchu reporting overtime, and then got into her car to head to the party entrance. The waiter blocked Lin Anqiao. I'm sorry. Ma'am, the guest list for the Shen group today has all been registered in advance. Your name is not on the list. Shenxin walked out holding a glass of champagne. Narrowing her eyes at team leader Lin, regarding the research task of team B, I thought you wouldn't come, so during registration, I crossed your name off. Adding it now is probably too late. It's better if you just go back. Lin Anqiao flared up in anger. Shenxin, you've gone too far. On what basis do you dare decline on my behalf? I am the vice president of the R&D department, so of course I have the right to make decisions on your behalf. Shenxin turned her head to look at me. Lin Wu, do you see this clearly? Without my permission, don't even think about stepping through this door. I casually raised my eyes. Is that so? I pulled out. The electronic invitation that GUS sent in the email showed it to the waiter. Can we go in now? The waiter only took one glance and immediately made way respectfully. Please come in, sir. Shenxin's expression changed wildly as she stared intently at the official invitation on my phone. With what capacity did you get this invitation? What the hell does it have to do with you? I turned off the screen and said to Lin Anqiao, let's go. Lin Anqiao was overjoyed and led me into the hall, introducing me to the big shots in the industry. Right during the social greetings, Lin Fan and Shenxin walked over. The seniors instantly saw Lin Fan and they immediately surrounded him to bootlick young Master Lin. When exactly is Dr. Wu going to show up so we can seek some guidance from him? Lin Fan thoroughly enjoyed that popularity. Lin Fan soaked up the flattery, putting on an aloof front. Today, I'm only here to accompany my fiancé. Shen also took the opportunity to build up relationships. Lin Anqiao, who was pushed to the sidelines, whispered to me, Ji Yu will be here in a little bit. Don't be shy at all, just be a bit thick-skinned. And go offer her a toast. There are tons of people who want to get to know her. The corner of my mouth twitched. I'll introduce you to her in a little bit. Lin Anqiao thought I was just bragging. At this moment, there was a commotion at the entrance. Ji Yu had arrived. Lin Fan confidently adjusted his suit jacket and walked toward me. Lin Wu, do you need me to introduce President Ji to you? Shenxin also mocked sarcastically. Do you think Ji Yue is the kind of woman who falls for looks? So many handsome guys surround her, yet she doesn't even spare them a glance. Do you really think you're that attractive? Lin Fan led Shenxin toward Ji Yue, President Ji. Before he could finish his sentence, Ji Yu brushed past them as fast as the wind. Under the stunned gazes of the entire hall, she excitedly rushed right in front of me. Why are you here? This scene instantly made the entire hall drop dead silent. Lin Fan's extended hand stiffened, midair, before the smile on his face could even be pulled back. It froze into a ridiculously horrified expression. Shenxin was even more completely dumbfounded, the champagne glass in her hand almost dropping to the floor. President Ji, did you recognize the wrong person? Lin Fan spoke up with a trembling voice. He is Lin Wu, just a freeloader living off our family. Ji Yu didn't give him any attention at all, only looking at me with radiant eyes. Boss, I sent you dozens of emails inviting you to attend, but you always said you were busy. Turns out, you came here on a private tour. I smiled helplessly. Accompanied my leader here to handle some personal matters. Boss, Shenshin shrieked, her voice cracking completely. Ji you called him boss. Isn't he just a freeloader with a thug wife? Ji coldly turned her head, her gaze sharp as a knife. Miss Shen, please respect yourself. The person standing right in front of you is the core figure that your Shen group has always yearned for, but could never get. And he is also that mysterious Dr. Wu who has never shown his face. As her words landed, a suppressed wave of shocked gasps erupted among the crowd. Impossible. Lin Fan completely lost control. He pointed his finger at me and roared. Dr. Wu has clearly always been in contact with my mother. How could he be this bastard Lin Wu? What on earth did you give Ji Yue to make her put on this act with you? I took a step forward, looking at him coldly. Lin Fan, you secretly took Madame Lin's phone to send that email. Did you really think I didn't know? I am only responsible for the Lin family? Didn't you just receive that message? Lin Fan's face instantly turned paper white, his legs giving out, and he collapsed straight onto the ground. Shensin couldn't stand steadily anymore. She looked at me, her eyes filled with absolute regret and shock. She had always thought I was just struggling at the bottom of the mud, so she wanted to use 50 million to humiliate me. But in just the blink of an eye, I became the god that she had to look up to. Right at this moment, a commotion came from outside the door. Madame Lin was escorted in by Nanny Ma. Her complexion was rosy, her steps steady and firm, completely showing none of the illness from yesterday. Lin Wu. Madame Lin walked straight toward me, tears welling in her eyes. That medicine, you were the one who personally researched it, right? Right? Isho shaked. Auntie, do you feel better now? Much better. Madame Lin turned her head to look at Lin Zhenin and Liu Li, her voice cold but resolute. Zhenin, haven't you always wanted to meet Dr. Wu? He is standing right here. Yes. Furthermore, my trusted aide is Chen Jie. Nanny Ma stepped forward, staring intently at Liu Li. Liu Li, did you really think swapping the babies at the hospital could be hidden for a lifetime? All these years I have always been secretly investigating and observing. As a mother, you didn't care about your own son at all, but instead showed special concern for someone else's son. I already realized something was wrong long ago. This DNA paternity test report is also completed. She threw down a report. Lin Zhenin picked it up with trembling hands. After seeing the results clearly, he suddenly turned his head and delivered a resounding slap right to Liu Li's face. You dared to use your bastard child to swap with my son? You dared to swap my son with this kind of scum? Completely breaking down, Lin Fan looked at that report and wailed in despair. No, I am the eldest young master of the Lin family. I am the rightful heir. I looked at all of this indifferently. Wealth status and bloodlines, the things that used to shackle me before. Boss, the car is ready, Ji Yue softly reminded me. I turned around intending to leave, but my hand was gently pulled back by someone. It was Shen Yaochu, who had stood behind me without my knowing when. She had changed into a pure black long dress, the wound on her back hidden beneath the fabric, but the way she looked at me no longer had that coldness from before. Mr. Lin, she spoke softly, carrying a hint of dependence that even she herself didn't realize. Grandma is still waiting at the hospital for us to go home. I looked at her, and the softest place deep within my heart was gently touched. All right, let's go home. As we walked out of the hall, Shenshin rushed out, weeping miserably, crying pitifully like pear blossoms drenched in rain. Lin Wu, I was wrong. Can we still go back to our university days? My footsteps didn't pause, nor did I bother turning my head as I left behind a sentence. Miss Shen, you once said an illegitimate son and a thug are a match made in heaven. I think you and Lin Fan right now are truly birds of a feather flocking together. Behind us was Shenxin's despairing cries, while ahead was the brilliant night view of Haicheng. In the car, Shen Yuchu suddenly asked me, that book about neurology, when are you going to return it to me? I looked at her with a half smile. President Shen, are you checking up on your husband's whereabouts? She turned her face to look out to the window, the tips of her ears turning slightly red. I'm just afraid that this Dr. Wu might run away one day and Grandma will tear the Shen group apart. I burst out laughing casually, wrapping my arm around her shoulder. This time she didn't dodge. Rest assured the contract hasn't expired yet. Besides, this husband hasn't even officially consummated the marriage. 3 months later, on the day the clinical drug for Alzheimer's was successfully researched, Haicheng welcomed its first rainfall since autumn. When I stepped out of the laboratory, I saw Shen Yuchu standing at the door holding a black umbrella in her hand, wearing that ink-black long dress I had seen countless times. It seemed she had been waiting for a very long time. Fine raindrops caught on her strands of hair. Grandma told me to pick you up. Her tone remained as indifferent as ever, but I was already able to see from that expressionless face something a little bit different. The tips of her ears were turning red again. I stepped forward naturally, took the umbrella, and pulled her close into the shelter of the umbrella. For President Shen to personally come pick me up, I'm truly honored. She glanced at me, saying nothing but not dodging either. On the way, as the car drove toward the Shen family ancestral home, she suddenly spoke up. That divorce agreement... I turned my head to look at her. She paused for a moment, her gaze falling on the rainy scenery flashing past outside the window. Her voice soft as if murmuring to herself. Grandma tore it up. I was stunned for a moment, then smiled. Then what should we do now? Shen Yuchu paused, rarely showing a flustered look. Grandma said she went through so much trouble to find her a grandson-in-law, so divorce is not allowed. I remained silent, just quietly looking at her. Finally, she also turned her head back, meeting my gaze. Outside the car window was the pitter-patter of the rain. Inside the car, it was so quiet that we could hear each other's breathing. Her eyes were very bright, as if containing starlight after the rain. Lin Wu. She called my name, her voice clear and cold, but it carried a hint of gentleness that even she herself didn't realize. That medicine, you've already given it to Grandma to use, right? Tonight will begin the first course of treatment. She nodded, stayed silent for a moment, then spoke again. Thank you. I looked at her suddenly, wanting to tease her a little bit. Just a verbal thank you? She was stunned, seemingly not expecting me to say that. That originally ice-cold face actually showed a hint of panic. I burst out laughing, reaching out to ruffle her hair. Just teasing you. She glared at me, but didn't avoid my hand at all. The car stopped in front of the Shen family ancestral home. The rain had completely stopped and a beam of twilight sun appeared on the horizon. Grandma had already been waiting at the door long ago. Seeing us get out of the car, she immediately smiled from ear to ear and welcomed us, one hand grabbing me, the other hand grabbing Shen, Yuchu, pulling us inside the house. Quick, 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 the whole family is waiting for you two to come back and eat. At the dinner table, Grandma would sometimes put food in my bowl and sometimes put food for Shen Yuchu, muttering under her breath, eat more of this, and you rotten girl, eat more too. Both of you have gotten thinner. Shen Yuchu rarely didn't talk back to that nickname rotten girl. She quietly ate her rice, occasionally raising her eyes to look at me. After the meal, Grandma pulled us out to sit and drink tea in the courtyard. The twilight painted the entire courtyard in a warm orange hue, and the air carried the fresh scent of the earth after the rain. Grandma suddenly said, Grandson-in-law, rotten girl, Grandma has to tell you too about this. Shen Yuchu and I looked at her at the same time. Grandma smiled from ear to ear, but there was a twinkle in her eyes. I remember now. I was taken aback. How did you two get your marriage certificate? I remember now. It turns out the marriage registration for the two of you was all arranged by Grandma alone. We were on the receiving end getting the certificate without even knowing it. Grandma smiled from ear to ear, looking at me. Grandson-in-law, you won't blame Grandma, right? I looked at Shen Yuchu, then looked at Grandma and suddenly smiled. I don't blame you. Grandma nodded in satisfaction. Looked at the two of us again and suddenly said, so when do you two plan to hold the wedding? Shen Yuchu absolutely couldn't sit still anymore. She stood right up, wanting to leave. Grandma pulled her back with one hand. Run. What are you running for? You're already married. What is there to be shy about? I smiled as I watched this scene, suddenly feeling this might be exactly the life I had always wanted. In the end, Shen Yuchu broke free from Grandma's grip, walked over to my side and said in a low voice, let's go. I stood up to say goodbye to Grandma. She smiled from ear to ear and waved her hand while secretly stuffing a small piece of paper into my hand. Getting into the car, I opened the paper. On it was written a line of text. Grandson-in-law, if that rotten girl bullies you, just tell Grandma. Grandma will teach her a lesson for you. I couldn't help but burst out laughing. Shen Yuchu leaned in close to look. After finishing reading, she stayed silent for 2 seconds, then said, Grandma's handwriting is actually quite beautiful. I turned my head to look at her and she met my gaze, suddenly asking, Lin Wu, what are you laughing at? I looked at her, half joking and half serious. I just got lucky. She was stunned. Without spending a single penny, I managed to score a wife. I said, though it was fake now, it seems it's about to become real. She stared intently at me for a few seconds. Then she turned away to look out the car window, but I already saw the corner of her mouth curling into a faint smile. The car slowly rolled into the night, the lights of Haicheng flashing past the window. Yuchu, I called out softly, do you have time tomorrow? She turned her head to look at me. I looked at her, my eyes carrying a smile. Let's go tear up that divorce agreement. She stayed silent for 2 seconds, then gave a soft hum. The sound was very light, but it weighed more than 10,000 marriage vows in the world. The night of Haicheng out there was truly brilliant, and I felt like everything had seemingly just begun.